There's a light, a certain kind of light that never shone on me. If I ain't got you, ain't got you, baby, you don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like.
All new Renault Capture SUV for all your lives.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Seventh Coaches intermediate championship final between St Albert, Plunketts, Mullingar and Ringtown. It's a damp and miserable afternoon here in TEG Cusick Park for today's final. I'm joined by Johnny Greville and by Jerry Buckley here on my left-hand side. And I suppose, Jerry, this was the final that I suppose most neutrals were looking for at the start of the season in the intermediate grade.
Probably the situation, Paul, all right. You certainly got your first statement right. It is damp and miserable. Yeah. And how that's going to affect the game, I suppose, the old cliche is it's the same for both sides, but it's not conducive to quality hurling. But yeah, I think a lot of people would have expected this pairing from an early stage, and I saw the two semi-finals and they're worthy finalists, and looking forward to, I think, what will be a close game. I was just looking there now, some key battles there. You have Aaron Craig on Mark Cunningham, Davy Gavin and Johnny Hardman, Phelan Burke and Kieran Curley. Some good clashes here. I believe the teams are lined out and selected, so I'd expect it to be a close game. Based on what I've seen so far, and say worthy finalists and a big prize on offer today.
Absolutely. And Johnny, I suppose it's very hard for us to pick a winner here today because it was a draw between these two in the league phase of this competition. So they are very, very evenly matched.
Yeah, I know, I think so. And, I think Plunketts had a couple of draws in the group stages as well. So, but they learned how to win from there on in. But, final is there for winning. Conditions matter very little. It takes over. The heart takes over on county final day. Both sides are, from what I've been watching here in the pre-match warm-up, are seem well prepared and ready to go. I think the key battle today now, with myself personally, is going to be the two goalkeepers. I think Pat Burke and Conor Bracken, has scored, I think, an average of 2 or 3 points per match this year. Yeah. So he's coming out to take 65. He's coming out deep. Pat Burke, a long puck winner for many years in Westmeath and Leinster, and a participant in the Cooley Mountains. So I think today the conditions the way they are, I think the two goalkeepers puck outs and the strategies are going to be a key factor in the game today.
Yeah, and probably going to be needed. Long puck outs are probably going to be needed today with the prevailing conditions. I suppose it's windy, it's wet, it's just damp and miserable.
It is, and physical conditioning comes into it here today. I was just watching Oliver Plunkett's warm up there, and they haven't touched the ball. I think it was 22 minutes in before they had a hurling ball in their hand. So they really did a lot of prep on the physical side of things, so they're expecting a big battle today by what I've seen so far. Ringtown completely opposite. They were straight onto the ball, a more relaxed warm-up, and seemed to be a bit more focused on the hurling side of things. So I think it'll be an intriguing battle between the two. There's a lot of good young players on both sides, and we all know about the marquee players, and we could talk about them all day, but I think that the good young players like young Jeff Nee and Zach Ahern and these guys, I think they're up and coming stars from Westmeath hurling. I think that's going to be a key thing.
Johnny, who would you just side in favour of?
I'd probably just go on what I've seen with Oliver Plunkett's and tradition that's there, and Ringtown have a huge tradition as well. I'm not taking away from that, but Oliver Plunkett's most recent tradition and the key players, Kieran Curley, Aaron Craig, Davy Gavin, all inter-county standard players, and I think they could just might have the edge today.
And Derry, I'm going to ask you the same question. If you had a spare 50 quid today, who would you put it on?
I haven't had a spare 50 quid in years, Paul, no, to be honest with you. But,
and I can vouch for that, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd probably go narrowly for Plunketts as well, and I'm just thinking, obviously, stay neutral in this, but as a Mullingar man, you know, I want to see hurling progress in Mullingar. And it's funny, Shamrocks, the strip Shamrocks wore last week reminded me of the old Pearce's jersey. And I remember as a kid in the 60s, don't remember the 62 final, I was too young, but I remember Pearce's getting to the final, senior final in 66, and 67, lost to Pollard and Raharney. And, you know, I'd love to see Mullingar hurling back at that level. So this is a stepping stone in the right direction. So if you loan me that 50 quid and I have time to run out the book, I'd say absolutely.
Because I'd never see the light of it again.
It cost me 60 by the time I repay you, but narrowly for Plunketts, but I wouldn't... it's not a confident vote, you know. I think Ringtown have some very good players there too. It's the old cliche, it's all on the day.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how tight it is. Gents, thanks very much. We'll be talking with you later on. It's been a pleasure here to be here for County's final day, but we'll be back. We're going to have an interview now with the two managers. We were talking to the Mayor Neil, Kieran McKenna and Nigel Mannion from Ringtown. So we'll switch over now to our interviews with the two managers, and we'll be back in commentary very, very soon here for this afternoon's intermediate final.
Half time, is it?
The manager of Ringtown here today. Intermediate final, Nigel, I suppose at the start of the year that was the goal, to get here to this day, to get to the final.
Absolutely, yeah. From the very start, when the boys rang me back last January, and with the COVID, we did do another for a month or two, and then they came back to me then in February. We had a chat with the boys and took them on. We beat the county final last year, to be hurt from it. So I felt, yeah, this year was the goal was to get to the county final first of all, and then, you know, on the day it's anyone's game on the day. It's a 2-horse race now from here, but you know, you can see the conditions are pouring up this time of the year, so we've been training hard through this kind of weather, so we're kind of ready for everything now.
Yeah, and of course that hurt from last year's defeat, it has to still rankle, I suppose, in Ringtown as well, to come so close, you know, and wait 12 months to rectify that, and a little bit of redemption maybe today.
Yeah, the boys thought this year they was time to go outside the club and begin the manager. We've come from Offaly, so we're up here, we're after giving them all we know, and we're after getting our team fit. We've looked at all the players, we picked our team to suit the team and their style of hurling, but they're hurling in there definitely. They've lost two finals in the last 2-3 years, so it has to be there, and hopefully like that they can use that today, you know, and really get over the line today. You know,
and very little, I suppose, Nigel, between the teams. A draw in the league phase of this one, a very close game. It was nip and tuck the whole way through, and probably expecting something similar today, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll draw the first game. Yeah, it was a very, very close game. It was very, very tight. Same it's going to be today. Two teams are very, very evenly matched all over the pitch. They've gained 1 or 2 players since the last day we played. We've gained 1 or 2 players as well. We've got 2 players back, so you know that's going to just cancel each other out. So you know, it's going to be a really, really tight game. It's going to be a tough game. And like I said, the conditions out there aren't pretty, but you know, I'm expecting a good game of hurling.
Yeah, but probably with conditions it's going to be a battle, and it'll all come down to a little bit of heart, and maybe that little bit of a hurt from last year might drive Ringtown over the line.
Yeah, the guy said in the boys, like it's who wants it the most today, you know. If the boys want this the most, like, they're really hurting there and they have to use that today. Like, I think it's like whoever wants to gain the most, it's going to be.
Yeah, well listen, Nigel, from us here on RVTV, we wish you the very best of luck. Tullamore man managing Ringtown. It's great to see 2 local clubs, 2 proper intermediate clubs here in the final, and we wish you all a very kind of manager of the St. Oliver Plunketts team. Kieran, proud day for the club, and a proud day for yourself, I suppose, to be leading your team out in the county final day.
Yeah, proud day for the club. It's been 5 years since our last final. We've been struggling over the last few years to make the knockouts and everything else. It's the first year we made the knockouts, first year we made the final in 5 years, so we're going to give it our best today anyway.
And going in with a little bit of momentum as well. Great win here the last day against one of the more fancy teams in sport, the second string teams as well. But
yeah, we
played good hurling.
Yeah, good win the last day. We were happy enough with it most of the game, but Ringtone would have had a good game as well against Castletown. We know we're up against serious opposition too.
Yeah, and having said that, a drawn game in the league phase of this, so it's very hard to decide or to pick a winner amongst it, I suppose.
Yeah,
it's performance on the day.
It's a bucket of ball game. The last 3 or 4 years it's been draws and point games between us in the championship. So we don't think today is going to be any different. Both teams have probably improved a lot since the first day we played as well.
Yeah, and the striking thing today, I suppose, is 2 proper intermediate clubs playing in the final. There's no second string today. This is winner take all to go up into Senior B for next season, which is probably what every other Gael, apart, I suppose, of the second string to the senior clubs did. This is what we want, like, you know.
Yeah, look, that's what it's good to see two intermediate teams in the final. Many would argue, I suppose, that intermediate should be only solely intermediate teams and not second teams or second teams of other clubs. But that's the way it is. In fairness to Plunketts or Harney's, Castledowns, they're strong enough to have second teams there. So they're there on merit, I suppose, too, and they've been doing well really for the last couple of years.
Yeah, but you're not afraid of
their standard.
You're not afraid of them either. Like you played Plunketts in the league phase of it here, or Harney here in the semi-final. So these guys are well able to hurl against this calibre of player.
Yeah, look, we've a great panel of lads. They're training really hard. They're afraid of nobody. They're just giving it their all every day. They've been improving steadily over game by game for the last 4 or 5 games. So we're in the right place today, hopefully. Yeah, and a bit of rebuilding phase, I suppose, for our Plunketts after the halcyon days, I suppose, the 90s and 2000s. So it's a rebuilding phase, and this is maybe the start of something even more major, maybe for the town club. It is. Look, we're definitely in a rebuilding phase. We're trying to get back up to senior. Senior A is obviously the first step, or senior B is the first step to getting all that way up to senior A. But there's an awful lot of underage work going on in the club for the last, it's probably 8 years. At full strength for the last, the lads have been working Eddie Casey, the lads have rejuvenated that underage section, and they're starting to come through now at this point. So it's up to us to do the job and get us up to senior B first of all, and start working up through the ranks. Well, Kieran, the very best of luck to you today and the St. Oliver Plunketts team. We wish you all the best. Thanks, Pat.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TEG Cusack Park for this afternoon's 11 coaches intermediate hurling championship final between St. Oliver Plunketts, Mullingar and Ringtown. I'm joined in co-commentary this afternoon by Johnny Greville. And Johnny, miserable conditions, I suppose, for the final. But we're looking forward to a really decent game here today.
Yeah, no, I think so. And just looking at the flags here, it seems to be blowing into the canal corner there with the wind blowing into it. Now, it's significant enough wind. So it'll be interesting to see what way the teams are set up to start with. Who's going to go with it, who's going to go against it. In a county final, it takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes to settle into a game. So it'll be important to see how that works out.
Yeah, and I suppose, Johnny, it's nice to see two proper intermediate clubs. We've said this on numerous occasions. To see two proper intermediate clubs in the final here, which is what you want, I suppose, more than that. And it's a huge fill-up for Mullingar, for Hurling and Mullingar, to see Oliver Plunketts back in a final. And of course for Ringtown, maybe looking for a little bit of redemption from last year's defeat in the county final here against Clonkill.
Yeah, no, it's great. And even looking at the programme there, you have 36 lads named in the Ringtown panel, 37 on the Plunketts panel. You see the crowd coming in here, Ringtown crowd to the right and the Plunketts crowd to the left here, and it's just it's a real tradition. This is what I think Westmeath is the template for going forward, is the soul clubs, to try and bring it back to the parishes and bring back that bit of pride into the clubs. I know.
And what did it mean to the communities as well, Johnny? I suppose as well.
You can imagine now, pre-COVID, if we didn't have all the rules and regulations, that whichever team win here today, the celebrations that would be involved, and that's what it's all about. And that just puts an emphasis on building memories for these especially these young guys are on both squads. So Ringtown would traditionally have operated at senior level for many years, and Plunketts have are that long ago since we're in the county final. So it's I think it's going to be a right good game. I think it's a nice build up to it here.
Nice crowd as well, Johnny. Nice building up all day there. We were here early and the crowd were drifting in at that stage. I just want to say hello to a few people. It was wonderful to see Cathal Craig line out for the team photograph. They were badly injured, of course, in the group stages, but it was a pleasure to see him tagged out at number 27. He got in for the team photograph. He's more than helped his club to get to this county final. And also, there's a lot of people watching us from all over the world today. I believe New York, but particularly in Perth in Australia. I want to say hello to my nephew Ian Doolan, Aaron Corrigan in Melbourne, and indeed Niall Kilcoyne, who is also in Perth. So people watching us from all over the globe today, Johnny. I hope we do a bit of justice to the final here today.
Yeah, I know some of those guys are away, possibly couldn't be talking out today, so I'm sure it's an emotional day for them as well, being away from home and
the dead of the night.
The dead of the night, and it's great because like RVTV and yourself and the lads here, providing this service. It gives that opportunity for people away from home to be able to get that taste of that home feeling again, and I'm sure the guys blowing Perth to be hoping that Ringtown can pip it here today.
Oh, well, I guarantee it, and I bet you there's not a beer between them at the moment. I wouldn't say they're even looking at it at the moment. Of course, Australia a little bit of lockdown, but conditions are probably going to play a large part in today, Johnny. It's going to be a fairly physical battle. We were talking earlier on. We were mentioning, and Jerry Buckley was with us, and he was mentioning mentioned about the goalkeepers. It's probably that's another striking scenario here today as well.
Yeah, no, the two keepers are just watching Conor Bracken there and hitting 65s here into the Dun Stores end now against the wind, and he was firing them over the bar, so he's a great strike. I think it's going to be a key cog today. Now Alfie will have his work cut out today, I think, I'd say, in the early stages, maybe just to make sure that things don't get out of hand, to allow the game flow and make sure the physical battles don't go overboard. But I think Pat Burke and Conor Bracken today in the conditions, I think is going to be vitally important. Their puck outs, like Pat is, one of the best goalkeepers Westmeath has ever had. Conor Bracken and Plunketts have a treasure trove of keepers there. I see, Conor Lynch and Conor Bracken there, so two guys who have previous
and Peter Collins over the years.
So, it's good to see that. But I think that's going to be a key battle today. And the referee, I think Alfie is going to need his two assistants on the line to be able to give him a hand out today, because, in conditions like this with scores and all the rest of it, it's really important to see how things pan out.
Yeah, well, while we're at that, we're going to go through the teams here. We'll go with St Oliver Plunketts first. They're the first ones on here. They're as per programme, so we'll give you the line out. In goals, Conor Bracken. Full back line number 2, Brian Reedy. 3 is Stephen Conway, and 4 is David Murray. Half back line number 5 is Donald Liddy. 6 is Aaron Craig, and 7 is Zach Ahern. Centre of the field, where 8 is James Duggan, and 9 is Sean Kelly. Half forward line number 10, Matthew Cunningham. Number 11, Davy Gavin, and 12 is Colm O'Leary. 13 is Kieran Curley, 14 is Ross Caroon, and 15 is Damien Kiernan. That's the St Oliver Plunketts team. The Ringtown line out as per programme as well. In goals, Iver Hay and Pat Burke, Iver Doe, Jack McMahon, Iver 3, Niall Moore, Iver Carr, Phelan Burke. Iver Coig, Charles Flynn, Iver shocked Johnny Hardman, agus Iver is shocked Kieran Moore. Lorna Park, Iver hooked is Paul Nangle, agus Iver in E is Conor O'Grady. Iver Jet Emmett Corrigan, Iver Haindig Mark Cunningham, agus Iver Doig Darren Kilcoyne. Iver 3 Jig, Ian Kilcoyne, Iver 4 Jig, Luke Moore, agus Iver Coig Dig, Jeff Nee. Our referee for this afternoon's contest is Alfie Devine, as we take a pause for our national anthem. And there it is, Johnny, what we've been looking for here for a long, long time, the roar of the crowd here in TG Cusick Park. It's absolutely wonderful to hear it, and we're almost ready to throw in here on what is a red letter day, both for Ringtown Club, Ballynarina, August Oliver Plunkett Nefa for St Oliver Plunkett. We're heading into the start of the intermediate final for 2021. A battle ensued in front of us, and Johnny, it's already, it's knuckled down straight away. All out here in front of us here. Zach Ahern with the first touch of the ball, ships it back. Aaron Craig, inter-county player of course, Joe McDonough winner this year, getting it hard to get it up. He's surrounded by Ringtown Mayors, but somehow he gets it into his hand, loses it though. It goes out and away, it's shipped over to the far side of the field. Nice work for Plunketts here. Kieran Curley got that one, it's down into the forward line. Up we go for it. The bull Kieran puts the hand up for his. Davy Gavin gets the first touch on it, doesn't make connection of it. And of course, Johnny, as we said, conditions playing a large part of it here. The ball is dropping all over the place.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of slipping and sliding. Footwear is key here today. But I just noticing here straight away that number 2 for Jack McMahon is man marking Davy Gavin. From what I see here straight away, so
first strike of a ball at the goal there, and that came from Jeffrey Nee, but that one has just drifted to the right and wide. First wide of the game here, but it is tough conditions, Johnny. It's hard to get the ball. The ball must be like a bar of soap out there.
It is, yeah. You can see Conor Bracken's puck out there landing nearly on the 45. So that's a key cog in the armoury now. That long puck out.
O'Leary heading towards goal. Is he going to get the opening score at final 2021? It is. It's up and it's over the bar. And he has been one of the shining lights, of course, for Oliver Plunketts this season. Colm O'Leary with the first score of the game here after just barely a minute gone here in TEG Cusack Park. A lovely score, picked it up here just in front of us in the press box and went on a little bit of run and pops it up and over the bar. First score, a point to St Oliver Plunketts, so they lead here in the very first strike of the game. And it's a lively enough opening, Johnny.
Yeah, no, it is. No, but you can see with Conor Bracken there, that first ball straight down, and Plunketts had the lads in around the break, and they got the score straight off the puck out. And similar to Ringtown's response there, Pat Burke out now, they have a line ball going in.
Ball, that's a super cut from Paul Nangle into the forward line. Lovely ship on. He was trying to find that time. He was trying to find Mark Cunningham, but he couldn't get to it. Sean Kelly now ships it over to this side of the field, over to Mick. Kieran Curley has it. Is he going to get it into the hand? He does at the second attempt. Curley now, low and hard into the forward line. Ross Caroon puts the hand down but doesn't get to it. Chips it on to O'Leary, but it goes astray. Just goes astray. Nice movement that time. It was well intercepted that time by Phelan Burke, and he gets it down over to the far side of the field. Looks like Inklekine on it. Drops it in towards the centre. He's looking for Mark Cunningham, and Mark Cunningham is fouled in the attempt to try and get that ball. It's going to be a free in and a chance for Ringtown to equalise here.
Yeah, it seems here that Kieran Curley is dropping deep.
Looks like he's almost playing as a third midfielder.
Yeah,
Is that fair to say?
He's right out, so they seem to have three here inside the 4, or three just at the 45, and then two inside the 21.
Interested to note that Johnny Hardiman has gone on to him as well, which is
he's very taking the strange one, because you'll be taking Johnny right out of the heart of the number 6 role. So if Kieran drops 24 deeper now, it will leave them exposed now. But on that counter attack there, Emma Corrigan won good ball right up the line and burned his player and have the free out at.
Jeff Nee now with a chance to equalise here in TG Cusack Park. We're barely 3 minutes into the game. Jeffrey pops it up and over the bar, and there's the equaliser. A point apiece here. 3 minutes gone here in TG Cusack Park. Levels you devils, evens you demons, and a lively start here in TG. Conor Bracken with a huge puck out again, way down the field, but there's 3 Ringtown men around it, and it's Johnny Hardiman tries to get it, but he's intercepted well by Kieran Curley, of course. Inter-county experience with Kieran, has played inter-county for Westmeath, gets it into Damien Kieran, the Bull trying to get through. Is he going to get a strike on it? Is the Bull going to get it up over the bar? He is. That's the first score. The first score for Damien Kieran, and the second score for Plunketts. 2 points to 1 here. Almost 4 minutes gone here in TG Cusack Park, and it's free flowing, Johnny. It's end-to-end stuff here at the moment.
It's free flowing. I think both teams are just trying to get the grips of the way each team is set up now, and especially in the puck outs here. You see Pat's puck out just dropping into 65,
and it's still a fair one, and it comes all the way to Craig down into the corner, but there's nobody there for it. The only man that's there is Phelan Burke now trying to ship out, and he gets well dispossessed, but he eventually gets a hold of it, back out, ships it on to his cornerback partner Jack McMahon in towards the centre. Sean Kelly somehow gets a touch to that one, but it's gone out over to the far side of the field. Plunkett still trying to get their hand on the ball. Manny Cunningham goes down in it once, goes down in it twice, still doesn't get to it. It's a little bit almost of a scrum here in the centre of the field, but eventually it's lifted and struck it. Jimmy Duggan now. Duggan strikes it into the corner, looking for O'Leary. O'Leary is out in front of his man again, but that's great work, super work that time. We've a bit of an injury here on the sideline, Johnny. I didn't see what happened that time.
No, Phelan Burke, he gave off a clever hand pass there just over the shoulder to 2 Plunketts players coming in, and he just took a hit as he was giving the ball off. Now, nothing sinister in it. It was just a coming together of 2 players, but I think he's getting up on his feet. He should be okay.
It'd take more than a little knock like that, I think, to knock Phelan over. I have a tractor at home, and I don't think that'd knock him down. He's a hardy buck now.
Yeah. Just Damien Kieran coming over here to the sideline here. Another player that's been around for an awful long time, and got a great score there a couple of minutes ago.
And there is that kind of blend and experience in both sides, I suppose, Johnny.
Yeah.
If we got out through the lineup, you've the likes of the Bull Kieran, and you've Kieran and Curley, you've Aaron Craig, I suppose, on the Plunkett side, and equally on the far side, you've the likes of Johnny Hardiman, Emmett Corrigan, Darren Kilcoyne, Ian Kilcoyne, been there, done that. A lot of these guys, a lot of them with inter-county experience as well. So there is a huge blend of experience and youth, I suppose, on both sides.
Yeah, and that's really important, especially in days like today. You need that.
Nicely cleared outside. This is Aaron Craig coming through the ball, ships the ball over his shoulder. Good work that time by Plunketts. They cleared it down the field, and it's into O'Leary. He has been out in front of his man every time, and he gets it up into his hand for a second time. Ships it back to Curley. Curley jinks by 1, jinks by 2. He's still going. Looked at taking a lot of steps there, Johnny, but he's still on the run. Kieran Curley, and it just slips out of his way. Was he fouled in the attempt of it? No, he wasn't. Alfie says play on, and I think he's probably right there. Curley maybe took a little bit too much out of that ball.
He did, in these conditions, trying to flick balls over lads' heads, it's not really the ideal thing to be doing, but
Ball looking for Matty Cunningham. Cunningham now with a bit of space in front of him. Looks around to see if there's anyone there, but leaves the ball behind him, and I suppose that's a little bit of inexperience on Matty Cunningham. He's a young man, really good talent, but the ball is cleared to nobody except Aaron Craig, who's all in his own 45, down into the corner. O'Leary going for this one again. Ships it back out to the Bull. The Bull pulls it back across the square. He's on his own. Ross Carroll's a goal! It's a goal! It's a goal! No doubt about that one, Johnny. It looked as if it was a mishit maybe by Damien Kieran at that time, but Ross Caroon put the hand up and he shipped it straight into the back of the net, and there's a great start for Oliver Plunkett.
Yeah, no, that was probably on the cards. You could see it coming. Plunketts are way on top here in the attacking third of the field, and Colin O'Leary raced ahead of Phelan Burke that time to win the ball, popped it out to
and Colin O'Leary has made such a lightning start to this game. He has been everywhere, Johnny.
A lot of key possessions, but Damien Kieran, we're going to give him credit. He's a score to his game or a point to his name and an assist. Now that was a deliberate ball inside. He's seen Ross Croon just inside the edge of the square there, and the cornerback from Ringtown, should have been done a little bit better than that now, and maybe that's where Pat Burke should have been a little bit more vocal and talking to him. But an excellent placed ball straight into the hand and a great goal.
And we're just 7 minutes into the game, and indeed Pat Burke is down injured by the looks of things here behind the goal to our right hand side here in the commentary. But Plunkett's leading here 1-2 to a point. Not the start that Ringtone want, but certainly the start that Oliver Plunkett's wanted, Johnny.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, the Plunketts have set up really well. The distribute or the out ball, you could say, or the transition from defence to attack from Ringtown is a little bit poor. They're hitting a lot of spare ball down the top.
And they seem to be loading that midfield area, Plunkett's, to try and get as many lads in possession, or to try and get them on possession as they possibly can.
Kieran Curley again, as you can see there, a key player there. The area he's in. He's picking up a lot of ball going through Kieran Curley, so they're going to have to come to terms with that very, very quickly.
Luke Moore is fouled down there on the far side of the pitch, on the terrace side of the pitch. It's going to be a free in. I presume it's Jeffrey Nee. It looks like Jeffrey that's going out to take this one. He's normally their free taker in chief, trying to get their second score. Haven't scored from Clay yet, Johnny. Actually only one score, and they need to get into this game and get into it quick before it runs away from them.
They do, yeah. Whatever little bit of conditions are with Plunketts, and Plunketts are capitalising on that at the moment now, with 8.5 minutes in. So every score, every free they get here now is going to be vitally important. But the biggest thing here, I think, is the breaking ball, and Plunketts are very well on top inside their own attacking third of the field, so they need to get the grips with that. Kieran Curley is kind of dictating what's happening.
If Williamson strike with a drop short and it's into the hands of Conor Bracken, that's a tame effort, if the truth be known. But ball back out to the field. It comes back out to Jeffrey. Is he going to get it from play? He couldn't score from the free. Strikes it high, strikes it handsomely, and pops it over the bar, and that's a lovely score from Jeffrey Nee. His second of the game. He didn't get the free, but he got the resultant ball back in. Bracken picked it up from under the crossbar, shipped it out, but Jeffrey Nee was the man on the spot. Ball straight out the field, over to the far side of the field. Damien Kieran goes for it, doesn't get it the first time. Is he going to get it the second time? No, that's good work by the Ringtown defence. Beginning to settle to their task now. Out it goes. It's wing half forward, Emmett Corrigan, but Emmett has gone out over the sideline, but Mickey Dan Murta is over the far side, and he said that's a line ball to Ringtown, and they will have the sideline cut over on the far side of the field here, just under the Renault sign on the terrace side of the field.
I suppose all in all there's only a puck of a ball in it, really, and Plunkett's have kind of dominated the first 10 minutes of the game. But
I suppose Nigel Mann, you've been nearly happy with that at this stage, because it has been fairly dominant for Plunkett so far.
Yeah.
And Ringtown are just staying in it. I mean, as you said, just the one score between them. Ball back across the centre, and it's that man Curley again. It got an mountain of possession so far, straight into the forward line. O'Leary is through and goal again. Is he going to have another striking goal? He does. Yeah. But this one has gone up and over the bar, and I think Colin O'Leary wanted a goal that time. He looked a little bit disappointed on it. He had got by his man Johnny, and there was another open goal chance there for St Oliver Plunkett.
Yeah, that again came straight from Kieran Curley inside. Colin then just has the beating of Phelan Burke at the moment, and to be honest, it was a goal scoring opportunity. He could have carried a little bit further and guaranteed a goal at that point, but it's I would say that's a goal missed, but they got a score out of it.
Yeah, and I suppose when you're in the ascendancy like that, Johnny, if those chances arises, really you're looking for it to go into the back of the net. But Colin O'Leary, I know, he looked disappointed even after the ball had gone wide or gone up over the bar. So I suppose they'll be looking to get as much as they can ahead of Ringtown in the early stages here when they are in domination. Yeah. Ball out to the centre of the field, and it's again Kieran. He's named at 15, but Johnny, I don't think he spent 2 minutes inside that forward line.
No, another ball in.
Ball shipped it in. Davy Gavin now. Gavin goes by one. Looks like he was fouled, but he's still on the run.
Davy now was with Shamrocks here last week. Not the best day here, but that's a tame effort. It's going to be a free in. I thought it was Johnny originally as well. He got the advantage. It looked like a tug of the jersey, but it's going to be a free in for Plunketts. Just to the right of the goal post here as we were looking at it. And this will test out the mettle of the Plunketts free taker. Not quite sure who's going to take him. They switched around a little bit last week. Kieran Curley took a few. Davy Gavin took a few. And Matty Cunningham is normally the regular free taker, but it'll be interesting to see who takes the first free here, and it looks like it's going to be Davy Gavin who's going to take the first free here for Plunketts. In actual fact, I think that's the first free they've gotten in the game so far. Yeah, that's first scored free. I would say that's really the first part of the game that Davy has really played a part in. You know, he's been marked tightly, and you know, he created this score himself, and you know, he's a key player for them at the moment. But you know, 10-12 minutes in, and you could say Davy Gavin really hasn't hurled yet. You know. There's a score from Johnny. It's up and over the bar. It's a quick puck out, so the referee will bring that back. Yeah, and Alfie called for it. He didn't blow the whistle that time. Pat Burke was a little bit premature in shoving that one out the ball. It's 1-4 to St Oliver Plunketts. It's 2 points to Ringtown here. 12 minutes gone here in the game. In the first quarter, that really has been dominated by the men from Mullingar, Johnny. Yeah, it does, and it looks like Ringtown are making an early change as well. And number 17 looks like he's coming in. I'd say it could be even Shane Murta. Yeah. I'd say, you know, they're just in a little bother down there now. They're doing a little bit of jiggling around, and ball goes up over the shoulder. Ringtown now coming on the attack. Can they get another score back? Can't see who has the ball in the hand there. It looks like it's Emmett Corrigan, was it? He's not happy. He thought it was over the bar, but it's not been given anyway. And whether he's given out about the fact that he thought he was fouled or the fact that he thought it was over the bar, we're not quite sure. But Bracken with the puck out straight down the field over to Matty Cunningham's side of the field. Cunningham can't get to it because there's two Ringtown men around it, and they come out with the ball back into the centre of the Hardiman. Hardiman well blocked down, super blocked out down by Kieran Curley. O'Leary back into Curley. Curley goes into traffic, gets it out to the bull. Damien Kiernan, he sees a man free. It's Davy Gavin. Oh, a lovely little side step there by Davy Gavin, and that's a lovely score. And Plunketts are really hurling well here, Johnny, in this opening quarter. It's been very evident, and that's going to be shown now here, because we're going to have the first substitution of the game. As the number 17 is coming in, that's Shane Murta. I'm not quite sure who he's coming in for. There's somebody coming here with a very heavy knee strap, but Alfie has not let them in just yet. It is there. It's like number 7. It's the number 7. It's Kieran Moore, and he looks to be heavily strapped just over the knee, Johnny. I'd say so. I'd say the chances to see how he get on is obviously hasn't worked out. So Shane Murta has a big job now in on Davy Gavin. So they're getting to know each other in there now at the minute. Yeah, and that could be an interesting little battle there. He's newly into the game, and he's not going to hold back or be on the left of it anyway. So there's a man down prone here in the bang almost in the centre of the field here. I didn't actually see what happened there, Johnny. No, just a coming together. It was just a Don Liddy actually it was. A bit of a belt, but but Plunketts are dominating. You know, their half back line. You know, I don't think any of the full back line for Plunketts have handled the ball yet. So you know, the ball really hasn't gone in, and that's a yellow card that time, Johnny. I'm not quite sure. No, I'm not sure whether that was a yellow now. I think it was more so coming together. But in these conditions, as I said, it's really going to be Alfie to make. It looked like it went to the number 8. It went to Paul Nangle. I think that's who got the yellow card there, Johnny. I'm not 100% sure of that one. We maybe can confirm that later on. But Conor Bracken is going to come up to take the free, and he's a long way out. But this is no problem to this man. He has a huge puck out of the ball, Johnny. And it's 1-6 to St Oliver Plunketts. It's 2 points to Ringtown. We're 15 minutes in. We're heading for the first quarter break here, and a first quarter that has been absolutely dominated by the Mullingar men. They have been in total control here in the opening half of the game with win advantage, it must be said, Johnny. Curley again now. He's a long way out. He strikes it high. He strikes it hard, but that one is drifting. And the first wide, that's Plunkett's first wide of the game that I can remember, Johnny. It's gone to the right and wide, but they still lead 1-6 to 2 points, and they have been dominant. They're totally. Kieran Curley is running the show there at the moment. Himself and Aaron Craig throughout down the spine of the team. Ball into the corner. It's Luke Moore now. Moore twists and turns. He's trying to get a strike in the ball. Gets it into Emmett Corrigan. Emmett switches around. Tries to get round his man, but doesn't get there, and that's great defending. And Plunketts have. It looks like it's gone over the sideline. It is, It was very close. I think it was Donald Liddy actually might have been over and tied to it that time. And
the bit of joy that Ringtown are getting at the moment, Emma Corrigan is getting a lot of balls.
He's about the only one so far, Johnny. If we have to say that because they haven't really stepped up as yet. They look like a team that were a little bit shell shocked by the start that Oliver Plunketts have made. But it's a long game. There's still a long way to go on it yet, Johnny. 45 odd minutes left in this game, but that ball has drifted out over the end line and wide. And there goes the whistle, and there is the end of the first quarter, Johnny. As we said, we don't want to be too in favour, but the crowd will tell you that it's Oliver Plunketts that have had the better of the exchanges in the opening 16 minutes here. They lead comfortably by 7 points, 1-6 to 2 points here. All our viewers on AirVTV, we hope you're enjoying it as much as we are, because it has been a fairly good game so far, Johnny.
Yeah, no, excellent, and I have to say Plunkett's skill levels are excellent. Some of the scores they've got, and giving the ball to the player in the best position. I know, and guaranteed, they said we've only got one wide, so they've 7-8 shots at target, and they've got 1-6 out of it. So so they're really at the forward, the middle third, and the offensive side of the field. Their two wing forwards are dropping deep. Kieran Curley is really becoming the playmaker there. He's after handling, I'd say, 10 or 12 balls there, and I'd say he has 3 or 4 assists.
As well has been
extremely effective.
The Bull Kieran and Damien Kieran. Interesting to note, Darren Kilcoyne, who has been one of Ringtown stars, not just this year, Johnny, but virtually every year for the last 10 years. I don't think he's felt the weight of the ball in this first half. And been very tightly marked, number one, and number two, the level of possession that they're getting is not very good at all.
No, the midfield from Ringtown and their half-forward line, especially, say, apart from Emma Corrigan, are the only ones they haven't really felt the weight of the ball. So they really have to get to grips with Plunkett's here in this part of the field.
Absolutely monster puck out. It goes the whole way down, almost inside the 21-yard line at the opposite end of the field. But despite there being 4 or 5 Plunketts men around it, none of them could lay their hand on it. And Ringtown are going to clear it. Runs into a bit of traffic there, but somehow gets a puck on it. But again, it's into space where there is absolutely nobody there. Ball goes in. That's a super catch. A really, really good catch that time. Wonderful, wonderful catch that time. And that's what any team needs. Wonderful catch that time by Niall Morden. Caught it over the head of Ross Caroon and brings it out the field, and maybe that's the catalyst maybe that Ringtown need, Johnny.
Yeah, they need to settle into it now, there's only 15 minutes to half time, so they need to start getting the couple of scores.
They need to get a couple of scores on the board to settle them, I suppose, more than anything else. It's Pat Burke now with the free. He's in his own half of the field. He gets it way down, just almost to the 21 at the opposite end of the field, but again 4 or 5 lads run across, and just as I spoke of Darren Kilcoyne earlier on, he tries to get possession. The ball is slipping around. It's going all over the place. There's 4 or 5. It's nearly a huddle. We could nearly call it a scrum if we were down in the sports ground in Connacht. But it's Johnny Kelly that eventually comes out with the ball. Somehow, I don't know how he got it out there, Johnny, but somehow he gets it back out the field. Good work that time by Jimmy Duggan. Duggan back across the centre, but it only goes across as far as the Ringtown substitute, and they go to get it. But that's wonderful work. Great work that time. Super work that time. Into the corner. Not sure who was that, Johnny?
That was Donald Liddy.
Donald Liddy, he's had a great start to the game. It's Ross Caroon, I think it's over the shoulder, and that's a super score. And from Donald Liddy's clearance and ship down the field, it's Ross Caroon. He's scored 1-1 so far. Excellent. A man on fire at the moment, Johnny. 1-7 to St. Oliver Plunkett. 2 points for Ringtown, and it has been blitzkrieg here from the men in the green and white jerseys. Zach Ahern tries to get to it, does get to it, ships it onto it, but that's Phelan Burke now. Burke trying to get through to it, but he's surrounded, and it's Kelly again. Ships it on to the Bull. The Bull can't get it this time because the experienced headed Johnny Hardiman is the right man on the spot. Shane Murta now tries to clear it, gives it down the field. There's 4 or 5 Plunketts men around it again, and again they outnumber Ringtown 2-1 almost in that position, and they're going to clear it again. That's great work by Brian Reedy, I think it is this time. Tries to get it up into his hand, can't get it up, it's shipped back out again. Reedy gets it into his hand again. Nice little move along into the back, but it's going back for the free. Great work by Brian Reedy that time, it must be said, Johnny. A couple of times he put his body on the line and he was rewarded for it.
Yeah. At the moment, Oliver Plunketts are the far hungrier team.
They're winning all the battles, Johnny. Winning all the battles. Aaron Craig now.
Their distribution is exceptional. Look, every ball that's hit in here again in possession.
Looking for Caroon again. Caroon was disappointed here last week with Shamrocks. Is he going to get another score on the board here? It's high, and it's over the bar. And that's 1-2 for Ross Caroon already in this game, Johnny. We're barely 21 minutes in, and it's all Plunketts. It's 1-8, 11 points. It's Ringtown 2, 9 points between the sides already in this final. Ringtown looking, of course, from redemption from last year's final. But as so far, Johnny, it has been all about the men from Mullingar.
Yeah, no, you have to say, the Plunketts have gone with a bit of a, as I said, the shock and awe scenario. They've really, put Ringtown to the pin of their collar here, and just, are absolutely. You look at it here now at the moment. They've only got 2 players inside their own, inside the offensive side of the zone. So it's, they're really defending in numbers and breaking out then together.
Burke now right down into the heart of the Plunketts defence. 4 or 5 that go around it. It's a chance for Emmett Corrigan. Is he going to get a strike at it? He does. But there's too many Plunketts men around it, and Alfie is calling it back. He's calling it back for a free in. I think he's probably right there again, Johnny. Yeah. He allowed the advantage to go ahead. Emmett Corrigan probably had a chance to go for goal that time, but it's gone. It's going to be a free in. Alfie is waving at somebody to get out from behind the goals. It's certainly not Conor Bracken anyway, but it looks like one of the Plunketts mentors is playing almost as a 16th man behind the goals and having a chat with Johnny Weldon down there. He's a brave man to have a chat with Johnny Weldon when he's standing at post, I have to be honest. But it's going to be Pat Burke now, and Pat Burke is coming up. I'm not so sure that Pat Burke is going to go and pop this one over the bar, Johnny. We could have a strike at goal here.
They're going to lose 8 minutes to half time, I suppose, in the scoreline. They need to really start making an impact and ask a few questions of Oliver Plunketts.
I think they haven't brought Pat Burke up all this way just to knock it over the bar, Johnny. I think he'll be looking for the onion bag with this one. Lifts it, strikes it, low and hard, and it's a goal. What a goal from Pat Burke. Just when you needed it, when you needed a lift. They have been completely out of this game in the first half, but there's the lift. There's the one that maybe strikes him, and you can feel it in the crowd. They have been totally lifted by this. And there goes a complete momentum change, and at 1-8 to St. Oliver Plunkett, 1-2 to Ringtown. A great goal from Pat Burke from a 21-yard free. Plunketts now again. Matty Cunningham coming on the attack again. Ringtown have they been reinvigorated with that? No. Ball is shipped out. Somehow it comes out to this side of the field. It's Luke Moore who named it full forward, but he's out in his own defence. Don't know what he's quite doing back that far. He'll get a nosebleed from going back that far. But eventually it's cleared, and again it's Plunkett surrounding the man in defence, and it's Phelan Burke that eventually ships it on into the forward line. Who's going to get a hold on it this time? It's a free in, yes. Another chance, and I think he's right again. Alfie has been on top of the play here. I think that definitely was a free. It looked like Plunkett were getting to it. They didn't get to it the first time, and I think the man was shoved in the back. Yeah. It's the number 13, it's Ian Kilcoyne. Hasn't really been in the game so far, but this is another chance now, Phelan Burke, to get another one back. And Johnny, you can almost feel the momentum swing here already.
Yeah, I know you can, and that's the first time they've breached the half back line and got that ball inside, the 3 guys inside. They've stuck with the 3 inside throughout, and that's the first time it broke in. It caused a little bit of bother. That ball could have broke inside, but they got a free out of it. This is 1-1 now on the trot now, so bring them right back into the game. But again, they still emphasise the work rate of Oliver Plunketts. They have to start Ringtown will have to up and match that work rate if they really want to keep going, or want to be in contention come the end of this game.
Third point for Jeffrey Nee, 2 frees. It's 1-3 to Ringtown. It's 1-8 to Plunkett. 5 points in it. And now, Johnny, I think we have a bit of a game in our hands. Ringtown, of course, will be looking to the half-time break. Maybe get a couple of scores in and then get the wind advantage for the second half. Johnny Hardiman over the far side, tussling with Kieran Curley. Ball goes out over the sideline, and it's going to be a sideline ball to Ringtown. The man on top of it there was Mickey Don. He was absolutely adamant it was only going one way.
Yeah, no, I know. He's, the momentum is definitely shifted towards Ringtown. They need to capitalise in this period of the game now. To get a little bit closer, 2 or 3 more scores to come to half time, and the wind get in their back, and how they set up and how they adapt then in the second half. I'm sure they'll learn from that first quarter, and will have to up their game significantly to beat this very good Plunketts team.
Ball, poor sideline ball. Curley gets his hands on it. He's been on a mountain of possession so far. Gets it into the forward line. Ross Caroon had just shifted his leg just at the very moment of bottom back, but somehow comes back to him. Is he going to get his hand on it? No, it's slipping around and sliding and slipping and starting on the stairs and the stomach. And eventually Ringtown somehow cleared the ball. And again, it's Darren Kilcoyne. I think that's his first touch of the ball that I can remember. And a wonderful stick work, super stick work that time by Mark Cunningham. And Cunningham is fouled, and it's going to be a free in. And another chance for Ringtown to narrow the gap even further, Johnny. And it definitely is. there has been a huge momentum swing here in this game.
Yeah, no, it has. A few breaking balls inside now. The full back there, young Neil Moran, I think it is getting on top of Ross Caroon there, and he's coming out. So that ball, as you said, was what Darren Kilkine's second touch. Popped it into the corner again. The breach the half back line, that was the key cog there. So the last 2 scores have come from frees.
Yellow card as well for Stephen Conway, a very early yellow card, I suppose.
Yeah,
a lot of the game to play. And from the domination that Plunketts had in the first quarter, Johnny, Ringtown have definitely come to life here. You can feel it here. Yeah. It's almost palpable. The feeling from coming from the stands here has pervaded onto the pitch, and they're right back into this game now as we're 26 minutes in to the first half here. Jeffrey Nee now with a chance to narrow the gap even further. He lifts it and strikes it and pops it over the bar. A 4th point for Jeff. He's the only point scorer so far and the goal from Pat Burke. And all of a sudden, we're only 4 points of a difference between the sides, and it's game on here in TEG Cusick Park. Thoroughly entertaining half of football. For intermediate hurling, Johnny, this is quite a high standard.
Yeah, absolutely. We've all been waiting a long time for a bit of cut and trust in a game like this, and it's full-blooded.
Ball into the centre, back it goes, a throw ball. Shane Murta, I think he's a little bit unfortunate there, Johnny.
Yeah, no, I
sure that one.
If I was reffing it myself now, I wouldn't have given that one. I would have probably given it free to Ringtown, but look, it's an opportunity now for Plunketts to get back onto the score sheet now. Conor Bracken come up and come ball from distance, right in the middle of the field. And I'm sure it's well within his distance.
It's definitely within Conor Bracken's distance anyway. He definitely has the distance for this one. It's whether the direction is as good as the distance that he has in it, but he's dead straight in front of the goal, Johnny.
Yeah, no, he's been one of the top scorers from place balls for Plunketts in this championship. So
he's looking for his second point already. A goalie with 2 points. He's one of the top scorers. That's it. That's up and over the bar. A lovely score. That's Conor Bracken.
That's
and they needed that, Johnny.
Well, that's the 2 goalkeepers have 1-2 between them.
When was the last time you see that? The game of hurling as it was. Davy Fitzgerald here. Ball is pucked out straight again, out to the bowl. Damien Kieran. He's a long time ploughing it only for her. Ships it back to Craig. Craig gets it out to Donald Liddy. Liddy now turns on his right, trying to get it into the forward line, trying to get O'Leary back on. It's a wonderful catch by O'Leary. Jersey was tugged off and it's going to be a free. And I think the free, Johnny, is for the pull of the jersey.
Yeah.
He had his man beaten to the ball, and in fairness, Jack McMahon is under huge pressure here with Colm O'Leary. I think he has been one of the shining stars so far for St Oliver Plunketts.
Colm O'Leary and Kieran Curley really, Ross Caroon with the goal now, but young Niall Moran has got the handle of Ross Caroon inside, and number 2 there for Jack McMahon and Colm are having a right good battle now. Jack seems to be just closing that gap a little bit more there now. Colm is getting it harder to get that space and that time in the ball. So again, here's Conor Bracken again.
Looking for his 3rd point of the game, Johnny. All from frees, of course. He's just outside the 45 here, just underneath us here in the first touch. Gets a good strike in it, and that one hits the post, and it's dropped down. I thought it was actually going to drop over the bar, but it doesn't. It's dropped down and it's back in play here. Davy Gavin goes on for, what a catch by the Gav. Shifts it out to the far side, out to Damien Kieran, the bull. Is he going to pop this one over the bar? He is, and that's a lovely score. And from where Ringtown thought they were going to get away with it, all of a sudden Plunketts have got another couple of scores. 110 to St Oliver Plunketts, 1-4 to Ringtown. We're 29. We've just a minute of normal time plus whatever referee Alfie Devine. I think he's indicating 3 minutes. 3 minutes additional time. I see Matt Shaw going ready to put up the board here. Craig now down along the sideline, but that one has gone out and over the sideline. And I suppose Plunketts needed those 2 scores. Ringtown had come right back into that game. But 2 good scores from that time. The ball was came off the bar that time. We're waiting around for it. Nobody poked it out the field. And when it was, Davy Gavin shipped it on to Damien Kieran, and all of a sudden another point and up and over the bar.
Yeah, well, Davy Gavin has only had really 2 real inputs into it. That's one there now with the catch, and then the offload to Damien Kieran and the score. So Kieran Curley has gone out of the game. He hasn't been as dominant in the last 10 minutes as he was in the first quarter. So
worked that time with Paul Nangle, gets it into Darren Kilkine. Kilkine now looking to shift it out, lifts it into Luke Moore. Moore gets a strike in it. It looks like it's going over the bar. That's a lovely score from Luke Moore. He's come way out the field, Johnny, to get into possession, but that's Ringtown's first score from outside of Jeffrey Nee or Pat Burke. It's Luke Moore. He looks like he's almost playing at the centre of the field now, almost as an additional midfielder, but that's over the bar, down into the corner, and it's under that man Moore again. He goes up for it, doesn't get to it this time. Paddy O'Leary goes down in it. There's 3 or 4 men. Murta has it, and he shoved it in the back, and it's going to be a free out. Pat Burke is going to get the chance, I suppose, now to drive it down the field. Is he? No, he's not coming out for this one. It's going to be Charles Flynn. And it looks like it's going to be a yellow card for
David Gavin.
I'm not quite sure about that one, Johnny.
I think it was for dissent now. To be
Maybe it could have been, yeah. We don't know what's been said or what's going on there, but David Gavin is getting a yellow card. And that's what you get if you don't shut your mouth, Johnny. We can speak all we want up here. Nobody's going to give us a yellow card. We might get served when we go out any of these areas, but we won't get a yellow card anyway. Not today. Long hanging free. It's Darren Kilcoyne right down to the far end of the field, but that's gone way to the right and wide. A second wide. Interesting to note, Johnny, there's only been 3 wides in the entire game so far.
Yeah, well, they've been very economical.
Puck out from Bracken is misdirected and the ball is coming straight back in on top of him. Who's going to get a hand in it? Yes, it's Jeffrey Nee. A rather slack puck out that time, and Jeffrey Nee gets his hand in the ball and pops it over. And now we're 1-6. We're back to a 4-point game. 31 minutes gone. 1-10 is in Oliver Plunketts.
One of the key things
to Ringtown.
To note is that the Ringtown full forward line, you know, when the ball is played in, are definitely winning their battle in there. So I think, you know, that's a key area for Ringtown.
Something to look for in the second half, maybe. Oh, there's a great catch by Gavin again. And this time he is dragged down to the ball. Not a bit happy about it, but it is a free. What more can the referee do? It was given as a free. He was dragged to the ground. It's going to be a free in. It's Conor Bracken coming up to take this one again. We're into the second minute of 3 of added time. We're almost at the half-time whistle of what has been an absolutely thoroughly enthralling first half here, Johnny.
Yeah, no, it's been excellent. You know, we thought Ringtown were going to be in for a tough day, and then, you know, the momentum switched.
9 points down at one stage.
Yeah, you know, the momentum switched, and now they're still in the game. But Plunketts are just still tipping across here with these scores. Another good score for
Bracken. That's a third free for Bracken, and you know, he's a vital cog in this team, not just in goals, Johnny, but also in the free taking. Alfie, he's after calling it 3 or 4 times. Pat Burke will be lucky here if he doesn't get the throw ball into him.
That's the rule, you know. When it's a score, you wait for the whistle, and you wait for the players to be outside the 21, and you poke the ball out. He's in every right to blow it and bring
Interested to note that Darrell Kilcoyne has come out the field as well. He's almost playing at the centre of the field as well. Charles Flynn now looking for this ball, up and under it. There's a tussle, going to be a tussle here, but that's a catch. He went up for it. Luke Moore doesn't get it, but it's shipped on. It's Paul Nagel, gets it in to Emmett Corrigan. Corrigan ships it back out to Darren Kilcoyne. Kilcoyne turns, twists, somehow gets it back to Luke Moore, and I think Alfie is absolutely spot on with that one again, Johnny. Even from our position here, Darren Kilcoyne was in 3 or 4 minds there. He was almost schizophrenic. He had that many minds on him.
Yeah, no, there was 2 players close here to the sideline. You know, there were better options earlier on with that first ball. You know, and he took too much out of it, tried to turn back into the tackle, and then, you know, give away a silly technical foul with a
let's be honest, Johnny, there's not enough room out there to turn a spit in your mouth nearly at this stage, because it's been very, very tight marking. Bracken now again. This is again from a huge distance out the field. Looks like it's heading goalward, is it? No, it's Pat Burke. Good catch by Pat Burke. Called it, shipped it, and he gets it back out over the sideline, but I'm afraid that's gone out. And there is the half-time whistle, Johnny. And look at, after a very, very interesting first half, it's 1-11 to St. Oliver Plunketts. It's 1-6 to Ringtown. But the most important thing, Johnny, is it has been an excellent, excellent game of hurling so far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, it's you know, from the slow start that Ringtown had, and you know, to get the grips with the Plunketts attack. You know, Plunketts were scoring nearly on every attack. You know, as we said, about 3-4 wides in the game. That's all there's been. You know, been very economical on the scoring side of things. Ringtown coming to the 4 in the second quarter. You know, Plunketts to the 4 in the first quarter now, and it's going to be really about the reaction now. You know, whether Ringtown can up their game another bit significantly to bridge that gap, you know, to get that 5 points back, or whether Plunketts can keep taking. I thought Kieran Curley had drifted out of the game in the second quarter, and really needs Colin O'Leary. I think the Ringtown backs have got the handle on those key players now at the moment.
Yeah, they probably are getting their matchups a little bit better than they had heretofore, I suppose, particularly in that opening quarter.
And every time then when Ringtown breached that half back line, which was the stopping point in the first quarter, they couldn't get the ball past it. I thought the 3 lads inside, young Jeff Nee and, you know, Neil Moore, had drifted back out, but Ian Kilcoyne inside were causing a little bit of bother with Emma Corrigan coming along the far side. So I think Ringtown have a template there to succeed if they want to keep going, and Plunketts know what they need to do if they really, you know, they're in the driving seat now, 5 points ahead of half time in the county final.
Yeah, well, we're half time here in TG Cusack Park in the Slevens Coaches intermediate final. Oliver Plunkett's lead 1-11 to Ringtown's 1-6. We're going to take a little break here, folks. Stay with us because there's a lot of hurling still to be played in this one. We'll be back with you very shortly.
Decent game.
Really
decent game, no?
Andy, you go down. No, we do it from here because you're too short.
We were here getting camera.
There's a light, a certain kind of light that never shone on me. If I ain't got you, ain't got you, baby. You don't know what it's like, baby. You don't know what it's like.
All new Renault Capture SUV for all your lives.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GA Hurling Championships.
It's it.
Huh? I know it was warm and everything, but
It was very warm out in Ringtown.
was it?
It was
Must
warm.
be the turf. The turf now.
Andy, can you hear me? Perfect. Okay, you want to give me a countdown in for the ads? Okay, give me a countdown in. 4, 2.
Yeah, you're very welcome back here to TEG Cusick Park for this afternoon's 11th Coaches Intermediate Hurling Final between Ringtown and St Oliver Plunketts. I'm joined by Jerry Buckley. Jerry, a thoroughly entertaining first half of hurling.
Yeah, really enjoyed it, Paul, I have to say. Given that the conditions aren't ideal, really enjoyed it. Plunkett's 5 points ahead. It's not a huge lead in hurling, but they're worth every single point of that and maybe more. I think Plunkett's, I saw them in the semi-final and they've upped their game since the semi-final and have played very well. And Johnny mentioned before the game about the two goalies, that both goalies have 3 points or a goal each.
A goal and 3 points,
yeah. But a goal and 3 points, 3 points each, so to
Yeah.
speak, and have been very influential. But I'd say Plunkett's will be very happy with their display, but possibly a little bit disappointed that they're not more than 5 points in front.
Yeah, and I suppose, Johnny, the goal has kept Ringtown into the game. It was a huge fill-up when they needed it most,
Absolutely.
and he absolutely buried it.
Yeah, you called it, you said when you got, and not to mention going to do put in the back, and it was a great strike right into the bottom left corner, and it was super. And you can see the momentum changing straight away after that score. You know, they started to dominate the dirty ball, the breaking ball. You know, and they started to get those few scores, and they've got the frees. And young Jeff Neal has been very accurate in those. And you know, the scoring, conversion rate has been excellent so far. You know, you'd have to say both teams very economical in their scoring. 3-4 wides is all we've had so far in the half hours hurling in the county final. So it's a great fair and a great game of hurling so far. So
yeah, and great skill being shown, Jerry, as well. It must be said from both sides. Like in very difficult conditions. Like it's not easy out there.
Absolutely. You know, there's a player we didn't kind of mention beforehand. We mentioned a lot. There's Ross Groon, the goal and 2 points to his name. You know, one of the lesser lights, I suppose. And playing very well. Yeah, a fine game all round. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, you know. And you were saying about Pat Burke. Pat Burke is 40 years of age, but I would reckon probably still the best goalie in Westmeath. And when I saw him sauntering down, you were talking about this famous €50 I don't have.
Yeah.
I said to the boys, if I had another €50 now, this is going to be a goal.
Well, we called it up here. We thought that was going to be the case. They weren't bringing him up the field for that. I see Ringtone getting ready to bring a substitute. We've no referee here for the second half yet, but it's still all to play for. I suppose Nigel Mannion will be nearly the happier of the two managers at this stage. Well, to be only 5 points down at half time, Johnny.
They haven't hurled their potential really, and they're still within the game. So 5 points in hurling is very, very little. You know, if they get up their performance levels another 40%, 50%, they could be thereabouts. But then, you know, Plunketts, some of the play, some of the scores they've got, like Kieran Curley was, I'd say, he handled 15 possessions in the first quarter and brought in maybe 4 or 5 assists on top of that. So he was a dominant player in that first quarter. But then filtered out of it a little bit in the second quarter, and Davy Gavin has been watched very closely. So the key players are being handled very well by Ringtown at the moment. So the Ringtown need their key players to step up a little bit more.
Interesting to note, James Boylan has come into the game as well, Jerry. I think he's in for Jack McMahon, the number 2. I see Jack back on the bench here, so I'm assuming that's the substitution for Ringtown. But we're getting ready to go for the second half of the game. Alfie Devine is back out on the pitch. My thanks to Jerry for all that half-time reporting. And indeed, myself and Johnny will be back with you here, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to go here for second half. Yes, indeed it is. It's 20 for 2 here at half-time. So that is, it's young Boylan is in for Jack McMahon.
That's a strange one. For me, I thought young McMahon was getting right on getting the handle there of Colin O'Leary towards the last quarter.
I think it's more than strange, because Colin O'Leary had gone out of the game with young McMahon, virtually keeping him under lock and key almost for that one. But look, ours is not the question why, ours is do or die. We're back on again. It's back into the fray here. Alfie Devine is throwing the ball in. We're back in for the second half here. We hope you're enjoying it as much all over the world, wherever you are. I hope you're enjoying it every bit as much as we're enjoying it here in TEG Cusack Park. It has been a rip-roaring game so far. Really, really good quality hurling in it. For an intermediate final, I suppose, if you regard it as the third level of hurling in County Westmeath, Johnny, if this is third level, we're really looking forward to Senior B and Senior A after this.
Yeah, I know, fantastic. No, as I said, the two sole clubs, in the final, which makes it a huge occasion, in my opinion. And I think it'll be, you can see it already, the heart and determination that's out there.
And huge occasion for the communities as well, that they're represented, Johnny.
And the new Westmeath manager, I'm sure he's here, Joe Fortune.
I hope he is.
I hope he is here, and he can. There's a lot of really good talent out there that can add to the Westmeath setup in 2022.
Yes, please God. We have Jeffrey Nee now trying to narrow the gap here. He's dead straight in front of the goals here on the 65, and that's up and over the bar. And Jeffrey has got his, I think that's his 6th point, is it, Johnny?
Yeah.
6 points for Jeffrey Nee. We're 1-7 to Ringtown, 111, 4 points in it. We're just into that start of the second half. Ball wonderfully held on to by David Gavin. Goes past 1, goes past 2. Ships it on, looking for Matty Cunningham. Hasn't really been in the game so far, young Cunningham. But it gets it into his hand this time. And this time he ships it out, but that was a throw ball. And if one thing, Alfie Devine has been absolutely adamant on that. If he gives a throw ball on one side, he's giving it to the other. But there's been a little bit of reaction from the Ringtown player, and that is absolutely senseless. After winning the free, Johnny, to give it away so cheaply is just not... It's just ridiculous.
No, discipline, in county finals, it's a key thing. One little slip here or there and it could cost your team.
And it's so tight, Johnny. Those little things will eventually make a difference in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Discipline is key.
Matty Cunningham is going for it. No, he doesn't get there. Trying to get on the ball. It has been a little bit stop-start here so far the second half. A couple of scrums here. We're calling it there. Davy Gavin tries to get his hand on the ball. He can't get on it. Ball comes back out towards the centre of the field. Johnny Hardiman looks like he's the man in possession. Somehow tries to get it away, but again, it's Damien Kiernan gets it away out to the far side. Zach Ahern is in a lot of space over there. Zach, lovely move, slips inside 1, strikes a nice ball, and that's over the bar. That's a lovely score from Zach Ahern. Really, really good score from the youngster. He's only 18 years of age. Really, really good raw talent, Johnny.
Yeah.
And that was a super score. They waited, they were patient, and eventually the chance came. It's 1-12 to St Oliver Plunketts. 1-7 to Ringtown. 5 points in it. We're just nearly 3 minutes gone here in the second half. And again, it's a little bit of a slower start in the first half, Johnny. But again, it's everything. They're putting their bodies on the line. It's everything is about the result here today.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference. They're both given absolutely everything for their club colours.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can see Ringtown have upped the game, compared to the first 5 minutes in the first quarter in the first half. So they're definitely up to the game. There's a score on the board apiece. You know, young Zach Ahern, I spoke with him earlier on, himself and Jeff Nee. You know, I suppose we can talk about the big players all day long, but these young guys are really stepping up, and that was a super score. Great sidestep.
And that's what they need, I suppose, Johnny. Both clubs are going to need these players to step up, particularly in the modern era. You need players to be coming through at all times. You know, it's a young man's game. It's not another 54-year-old man again. Yeah. Although I see the hurling match in Tipperary last week, there was a grandfather, a father, and a son played. Yeah. It definitely wasn't me anyway, because I wouldn't get a poke at a goat fair. Down the far side of the field it goes. Ringtown in possession, trying to get a hand on it. They have it this time. Good work by Hardman this time. Johnny, he gets a tap to the head, did he? But it's gone wide. It's gone wide. Johnny is not happy. I thought there was a little bit of a flick to the helmet that time, Johnny. Maybe I'm wrong, but and then he's arguing his case with Alfie, but he may as well be arguing with the Renault sign over there, because he's not going to change his mind. Down under us here in the press box. Cunningham tries to get his hand on the ball. Eventually gets it at the second goal. He fell into the tackle, Johnny. I don't think there was anything untoward about that at all. But eventually he gets it out. Ball over to the far side of the field. Who gets to it? It's Ross Caroon again. Caroon has space in front of him. Is he going to pop it? Yes, he is. And Caroon, for a man that really hadn't fired it in the championship so far, Johnny, he's picked the right day to step up.
Yeah, no, the county final day, it's always going to need an extra player or two to step up and score part of things, and he's really done it today.
113 to St Oliver Plunketts, 1-7 to Ringtown. It's 6 points. It's 2 goals. It's whatever you make it. Ball into the corner. Emmett Corrigan coming through now. Can he get through the tackle? No, he can't, because he's surrounded. Somehow he gets it back across the square. Is there anyone there for it? No, there's not. The only one that's there for it is Kieran Curley, playing almost as an auxiliary defender at that stage. Over to this side of the pitch. It's directly in front of us. O'Leary goes down for it. Gets it up into the hand, and as he gets it up into the hand, he's fouled, and that is a rather brainless, needless free that time. Going nowhere. He probably was going to go out over the line that time, Johnny. And a rather cheap free to give away.
Some poor defending there, just stay on your feet, stand up. He's, use the sideline as an extra one there. You didn't need to give away that free again. Plunketts, as soon as they lose possession, they're retracting all bar 2 players from their offensive zone right into the defensive zone, and they're breaking out numbers. And again, the distribution there again. That ball was from Kieran Curley driving out to the sideline, and after winning a free, and Conor Bracken could end up be one of the top scorers of the game.
From a chance that we had at the other end, Johnny, we could have a complete turnaround. That's a nice strike by Bracken. It's definitely high enough anyway. And it's over the bar. It looked to have drifted a small bit that time, but that's a 4th point. A 4th point for the goalie. 1-4 from the goalies today. We did mention it at the start of this broadcast. 114 to St Oliver Plunketts, 1-7 to Ringtown. All of a sudden there's 7 points in it again, Johnny, and Ringtown again are going to need another Philip. They're going to need another Pat Burke.
It's
a Pat Burke rocket, I think, if they're going to get back into this game, because they look second best at the moment, Johnny.
Yeah, Plunketts have kind of shown a bit of character now and kind of reacted well in the start of this quarter.
But having said that, Johnny, this was much the same in the semi-final against Castletown. Castletown looked all over winners here after 3 quarters of the game, but Ringtown came flying out of the blocks in the final quarter. Davy Gavin now gets it across to Damien Kiernan. Is it going over the bar this time? It's not. It's just gone to the left and right. That was a good chance that time for the ball. Ball is immediately shipped out the field, down in front of Aaron Craig. Craig goes up for it, doesn't get to it, because it's Luke Moore, I think, has the ball in his hand. Good work, Emmett Corrigan ships by 1. Emmett heading towards goal. Is he going to get it back up in the face? He's not, because he takes too much out of the ball, I think, Johnny, that time. It somehow comes back out to this side of the field. Look at the swarm of Plunkett's players that's around that ball. There must have been 5 of them to Ringtown's only 2 or 3. Shawnee Kelly now. Can he get a flick on it? No, he's beaten to it by Darren Kilkine, but Kelly, clever work by Kelly that time. And it's cleared back down the field, but there's nobody there on his own in the centre of the field with the Ringtown man. Out it comes to Luke Moore. Luke Moore ships it across. Again, Ringtown taking it into the tackle, and eventually Plunketts just swarm around him. And from a promising attack, Johnny, it's back down the field into Caroon. He has been the danger man for Plunketts today. Lovely move around by Ross Caroon. Tries to get a swing at it, but it drops short, and it's going to be easy pickings for Pat Burke. And Pat Burke drives it 70 yards down the field. Only into the arm though, Kieran Curley. He's on his own in the centre of the field. He ships it back on this time. I think that's Jimmy Duggan, gets a touch to it. Is Ross Caroon going to go for it? He makes a swing at it, but I'm afraid that's gone to the left and gone wide. And Ross Caroon was a little bit messy like that one time. He thought he was going to make a flick or something to knock it over the bar, when in fact he should have probably went for it and knocked it over. Zach Ahern now
It's gone a bit sloppy now just in the last 5 minutes or so now. So
Curley with another long ball in. It's all in front of Crown this time. Doesn't get a touch in it this time. Collie O'Leary goes up for it. It eventually comes back. It's down on the ground. Nobody knows who's getting to it. All rooting around for it. It's turning turf nearly at the bottom of there. Somebody is slain. Matty Cunningham tries to get to it, but he's shipped off the ball. Good work that time. I think it was Paul Nagel got his hand on the ball. Out it comes to Hardiman. Hardiman, long ball into the corner. He's looking for, is it Jeffrey Nee? Jeffrey now. He's trying to do work something, shifts it back across the ball to Darren Kilcoyne, but Darren Kilcoyne is well marshalled that time. Good work by Aaron Craig there. Didn't dive in, and eventually he's going to come clear with it. Wonderful work by Aaron Craig, showing a bit of inter-county experience this time. And again, but it's no one there in the centre of the field for Plunketts, except Paul Nangle is there. He's the only man available to him, but that's a wild strike by Paul Nangle. Had a little bit more time maybe than he thought. And Plunketts, the fact that they're going back into that defensive shell, Johnny, they're giving up a little bit of possession around the centre of the field.
Their distribution has gone back a little bit now, but that's probably down to Ringtown sitting the player back into them pockets, and they're just sweeping up that out ball.
Over goes the far side of the field. Again, it's that man O'Leary. An absolute contender for man of the match here. He has been magnificent, and just as I say that, commentators curse. I could have put the absolute hex to them. It was obvious where that ball was going to go. As soon as I mentioned that he was having a great game, out it goes over the end line and wide. But it was a wonderful catch, Johnny. He has had a tremendous game. Up it goes again. Jack Ahern, another man that has played his part today. Lovely ball into the corner. Looking for Caroon again. Caroon is out in front of his man every time, but it's going back to the free. Ahern was fouled, I think, just as the ball was being delivered.
Just want to go back to the bit of defending earlier on by Aaron Craig. You know, that ball that came across, it was a great ball inside for Jeffrey Nee to get inside the 21, and he played a great ball across. I think it was for number 12 there,
Darren Kilcoyne.
And instead of catching it, Aaron Craig, he kind of panned the ball with his hand out into the side away from the danger.
Get it out of danger, which is the most important thing, Johnny. If it's not in the danger zone, it can't be dangerous.
Yeah, super bit of defending.
Bracken now with an absolute monster referee inside his own 65, and that's off and over the bar. What a score! What a score! Conor Bracken with his 5th point of the day. 5 frees, 8 points between the sides. 10 minutes into the second half here. It's 1-15. It's 1 to St Oliver Plunkett. It's 1-7 to Ringtown, and it looks like Alfie is going to have a little word. He's already talked to Pat Burke on numerous occasions about this quick puck out, and eventually Pat Burke was going to have to pay the price for it, and it is.
Yeah, as I said beforehand, you know, the two keepers are going to have a key role to play today.
It's a yellow card for Pat Burke. Not that that'll make any difference. I don't think Barry comes out the field.
Conor Bracken, you know, taking responsibility.
Oh, that was a monster free, Johnny. Inside his own 65 against the breeze. Let's be honest.
Difficult conditions, you know. So super, you know. There's loads of good contenders for man of the match. With Conor Bracken for that alone is one of mine.
Ball into the centre of the field. Ringtown somehow get their hand on the ball. Emmett Corrigan now. Need a spark, they need something, they need to get going. Ball in towards the goals, but it's drifted again and again. Johnny, another poor wide. They have not fired in the second half at all.
No, and the body language has changed again from Ringtown, and you know, you can see their heads are down a little bit. But again, you have to give Plunketts, you know, the pressure they're putting on all these strikes. They're forcing the players to make these mistakes.
Ball over on the far side of the field. Davy Gavin, is he going to get on it? He is. Lovely work by Gavin. Gets it in, looking for Caroon again. Caroon puts up the hand, doesn't get it into the hand the first time. Is he going to get it into the hand the second time? No, because he's swarmed. He's surrounded by Ringtown men, but they need to get the ball down the field into the scoring zone. And look who it is again. It's that man. He's one of my contenders for man of the match, definitely Kieran Curley. He has been all over the place. Into the bull, Kieran. Damien has the ball in hand, but puts up the elbow, and that's absolutely right. And in fairness, Johnny, I think Alfie Devine has had a tremendous game here today as a referee. We don't often praise our referees enough when they have a good game. We're always the first to criticise when they're having a bad game, but I think he's having a wonderful game. He's up with the play and he's calling the shots.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. No, and then the assistants on either side as well. So, you know, but Alfie is inter-county standard. We're very lucky in Westmeath to have so many really good referees. And you know,
yellow card that time for Damien Kiernan.
It's only fair in the players that you know, the officiating is up the same.
You have to have the best.
Yeah.
Ball in towards the danger zone again. Craig puts up a hand, and again he's the Johnny on the spot. Is he going to clear it? He's gone past one. There's 4 Ringtown men around him, and he's still the man that is trying to get in possession of it. But that's a soft free, rather
is,
needless free given away. It looked like Craig was actually going to make that ball, Johnny, and all of a sudden now Ringtown have a chance to narrow the gap here once again.
Very similar pattern, to the first half. The Plunketts dominating the first quarter of the half, and Ringtown getting a couple of frees to keep them in touching distance. So it'll be important now. The change has been made here.
Another substitution for Ringtown, that's the number 22. That's Shane Brophy, of course, had a big influence in the semi-final against Castletown. And that's 3 of the defence have come off, Johnny. That's number 4, Phelan Burke, is coming off now. That's Phelan Burke has been replaced, Jack McMahon has been replaced, and Kieran Moore. 3 of the defence have already been replaced for Ringtown. Just goes to show you the pressure that defence is under.
And Phelan took a heavy knock there, in the first quarter.
And there's another wide, Jeffrey Knee. So, that's a third wide of the first half. They'd only one, or the second half, they'd only one in the first half, and it's beginning to tell, Johnny. You can see the heads are beginning to lower a small bit for Ringtown. They need something. They need a spark. They need someone to fire up for them, even for a couple of minutes to get them going. Ball over to the far side. Davy Gavin puts the hands up. Doesn't get to it. But it's that man again. It's O'Leary. He has the hand on the ball. Ships past one. He's still going. Is he going to get it back across the square? He can't hold on to the ball. Somehow gets a strike on it. But eventually it comes back in. Matty Cunningham goes past one, but that's going to be a free out. And it was. I think he's probably right there. I see his substitution down here. For St. Oliver Plunketts looks like Paddy Lynham. Paddy hasn't played a whole lot of hurling this year. Another inter-county star from a couple of years ago. He was on the Westmeath panel there. A really decent hurler. Looks like to have a heavy strap on the knee. Perhaps that's why he hasn't been playing so far this season. But it looks like he's coming into the fray. It'll be interesting to see who's coming off. Maybe Matty Cunningham hasn't really been in the game, Johnny, in the second half.
Of all the forwards, I know David Gavin's been watched closely, but definitely Cunningham is probably of the 6 forwards hasn't fired just yet,
No, and he'll have better days. He's a young man, and he'll get into it eventually on another day. Ball in under us here. Shawnee Kelly goes up for it. Shawnee Kelly gets it at the second time of asking, but again it's dropped. And it's that swarm defence. It's Plunketts that are fighting harder for the ball at the moment. Eventually, though, it comes over to this side of the field. It's directly in front of us here. No, it was still kept in play. Shane Murta, I think, was at it. Ball goes into Darren Kilcoyne. Darren Kilcoyne can't get it up on the hurl, and it's well defended. Lovely work that time, Stevie Conway. And Conway somehow gets a strike on the ball, and back it comes. Down it goes. Down to the far side of the field again, and all of a sudden it's back into the Ringtown half of the field. They need to get going. They need to get back into the Plunketts half. That's wonderful work. We're just after been talking about young Cunningham, and he makes an absolutely tremendous challenge. Matty Cunningham, and a second time. Wonderful work by the young man here in the red helmet. He has just absolutely put everything into that one. Is he going to be rewarded for it now? Ball is still along the sideline. Nobody knows where it's going. No, it's still in play. It's still in play. Good work by Mickey Dan Murta that time. That could have went anywhere. Eventually, it comes back to the centre, into O'Leary. O'Leary looks to have got a shoulder into the side there, but it's been allowed play on. Ball is down on the ground. Alfie is going to throw this one in. And
brilliant period of play there.
An exciting period of play, wasn't it? It was all sorts of. But it just goes to show you the passion that one club, that a proper intermediate club brings to the game. It means so much. Not just means so much to the entire population, the parish nearly. As I said, John Milan's one come to mind. I loves me county and I loves me parish, and it's the number 4 that's coming off for St. Oliver Plunketts. David Murray, he's come off. Paddy Lynham has gone in. It's going to be a switch around, I'd say. Lynham more renowned as a midfielder, so I'd say he's probably going to slot into that midfield zone. Davy Murray has gone off.
Well, just speaking with young Cunningham there, I suppose he mightn't have often an awful lot on the scoreboard, but his work rate there was
his work rate was tremendous there, Johnny. It's what you're asking from any hurler. Curley again, he has been at the heart of everything good that Plunketts have nearly done today. That's a late challenge on him as well. Really late challenge that time. Shane Burta is in trouble, I think, a little bit here. He may be in a little bit of trouble here.
Challenge, so he might be.
Alfie having a stern word with him here. He's not going to be getting any Christmas cards from anyone. But Curley has been tremendous, Johnny, for Oliver Plunkett. Rolling back the years here today.
First quarter and in the first half, the first quarter and the second half. So he's definitely stepping up, and he's needed.
Rolling back the years a bit to the halcyon days when he was inter-county standard, Johnny, and dominating. Played here, of course, in the county final here. Not that many years ago that Plunketts were in a county final here against Castletown, and Kieran Curley was one of the driving forces behind that team at the time, along with brother Diarmid.
Yeah.
Ball from Bracken. I think this one is going to the right and wide. It's only a third wide for Plunketts in the second half, having said that. And there it goes. That's the water break, Johnny. And Ringtown have made no inroads. In actual fact, they've gone further behind here in the second half, losing by 5 at half time. It's now gone out to 8. It's 3 more points added to it. Plunketts 115, Ringtown 17, and you have to say at this stage Plunketts are holding all the aces, Johnny.
Yeah, look at it. I said beforehand, Oliver Plunketts seem to be, the fitter, the more hungrier team at the moment. They're hunting in packs there. They're really, when they lose possession, they're sucking back into their own half of the field and they're swarming the opposition. And then, 9 times out of 10, their out ball is excellent. Ringtown have come back into their shell. Their body language has changed slightly, and they really need, that quarter they had against Castletown. They're probably going to have to dig deep,
and maybe a little bit more than that.
But
yeah,
it hasn't looked, they haven't really threatened in this quarter.
Apart, Johnny, from that second quarter burst,
yeah, a little bit of
Plunketts have really dominated this game. Apart from that, maybe 7-8 minutes, Pat Burke's goal and a couple of points afterwards, it really has been Plunketts, and they've been first to every ball. They've cleared when they needed to clear. They've spotted the danger. They've made good use of possession when they're in possession as well. Just a little bit more than Ringtown have. I think Ringtown haven't performed to their capabilities today, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think they've been a bit shell-shocked definitely in the first quarter, and they really need a massive quarter now if they want to.
Jimmy Duggan trying to get his hand on the ball, and he does it the second time of asking. Great work, physical work there from Duggan. Gets a strike in the ball, looking for Caroon again, and Caroon is again, Johnny, we're speaking of it the whole time, he's miles ahead of his man, but that's a poor strike. And eventually it comes back. It's Paddy Lynham goes down for that one, but doesn't get it. Ball is still play on. Ringtown still in possession. Charles Flynn, I think, has the ball, but he gives it out. Zach Ahern gets a challenge in, trying to get it onto it there. Luke Moore, he's come way out the field. Ball dropping in towards the goal. That's wonderful work by Stevie Conway. Oh, wonderful work by Conway, the full-back. But I'm afraid there's nobody in a green and white jersey out there, but he won't care. It's out of the danger zone and it's out of problems at the moment. Ringtown have to build again if they want to get a score here.
Dominated work rate is phenomenal from Oliver Plunketts. They're Stephen Conway, real traditional full back there, grabbing
real traditional, yeah.
And
horse out with it.
No messing.
Yeah, horse out with it.
Brian Lohan-esque, grab it out of the sky and lump it up the field.
Paul Greville like almost. Just get out of my way. I'm coming. Aaron Craig, another man who has had a tremendous game for Plunketts. It's going to be very hard, Johnny, for us to pick a man of the match here from Plunketts. Ball into the forward line. This one doesn't go straight. Interesting to note, Johnny, there's only one player. There's actually no player inside the 45 from either side on the Plunkett scoring end of the field. There's a high challenge. I think it was a little bit unfortunate. Yeah. I don't think there was anything whatsoever in that one. I just think the man was going down as
a whole lot about Paddy, but
as Ian Kilcoyne was coming into it.
Paddy is low to the ground a little bit, and
yeah, he was.
He dropped the shoulder.
He's like myself. He's vertically challenged, I suppose. And there's a yellow card. And to be honest with you, Ian Kilcoyne, we gave him a little bit. We thought he might be influential in this game. He hasn't been as influential as I thought, Johnny.
He hasn't. Emma Corrigan has probably
peripheral figures, I suppose.
Yeah,
is that what you would say?
I would say Darren and Ian really have come to the fore.
Ryan Moore is into the fray now. He's replaced the number 9. That's Conor O'Grady. Conor will have better days, but Bracken has struck a long free, but this one again is just gone. But it's as good as a score nearly at this stage, Johnny.
Yeah.
We're 51 minutes into the game. It's 1-15 to St. Oliver Plunketts. It's 1-7 to Ringtown. It looks like the trophy is going to be heading to Robinstown at the moment. The Adrian Murray Cup sitting in front of us here, resplendent in the colours of the two clubs, but there's still a bit of hurling to be played. Bracken now doing his defensive work as well as scoring frees, and it's that man again. How many Kieran Curleys is out there, Johnny, because he seems to be absolutely everywhere. Yeah. Ball down the far end of the field. There's no one between Damien Kieran and the goals here. Ringtown look like they're going to clear it, but the Bull gets his hand on it again. Is he going to make it to it? He does. Great work, and again it's young Cunningham again. Puts his body in the line and eventually comes out to Davy Gavin. Super pass. Collie O'Leary now bearding down the goals. Is he going to be happy with the point? He is. And that is just tremendous work. O'Leary has been exceptional in my opinion. Absolutely. But young Cunningham, the amount of work he put in there to try and get back onto that ball was just tremendous. He had no right to get to it, and all of a sudden we're out to 9 points. 1-16 to Plunketts, 1-7 to Ringtown. It looks like it's all over here, but there could be a couple of twists and turns before the end of this game. Ball into the centre. Brophy now He's only on as a sub. He's surrounded by one. He's surrounded by two. Somehow gets a hand in it into Johnny Hardiman, who looks like he's gone up as a makeshift half forward. But the ball is swinging around there. Nobody getting their hand in it. Aaron Craig goes down in it. Somehow it comes back out this side of the field. It's Emmett Corrigan, I think, is it? Ian Kilcoyne, his first score of the game. Could have went anywhere that time, Johnny. It was a score that Ringtown needed badly, but they're going to need more than a single score. It's 8 points between the sides as we're heading into the last 7 minutes of this game. They're going to need at least one goal and maybe even two. Ross Caroon on his own gets it at the second time of asking. What can he do with it this time? Somehow gets his hands in it. Into Matty Cunningham. There's loads of space here in front. Cunningham, is he going to get his first score of the game? Oh, Matty Cunningham. And that's just reward for the young lad. He's ploughed a lonely furrow up there. We thought he was going to be substituted at one stage, but in actual fact, he's come into his own. And it's as soon as we said it, Johnny, commentators, of course, must have heard us. Must have seen the long figure coming out. Down it comes in front of Craig. But eventually it's clear. It's Brian Reedy, another man who has had a super game for Plunketts. Ball into the centre of the field. Nobody laying claim to it. It's dogfight there. Darren Kilcoyne gets it into the hand eventually, and that's into the chest, and that's going to be a free in. But at this stage, free ins at this stage, they'll give them away all day long because Ringtown need goals. They need goals, Johnny. They need green flags, and they need one of them very, very quickly if they're going to get back into this game.
They're, you know, they're throwing everything at it now. You know, as you can see here, two other Plunketts players inside the 65.
Johnny Hardiman gone up as a makeshift full forward, I think, now at this stage. We thought he was centre forward.
I think this is it'll feed into.
They have to take the chance. They have to take the chance, Johnny. It's as simple as that.
Suggested area scores are going to be hard to come by, you know.
Jeffrey Nee with the free now. His chance to get his 7th score of the game, and he's going to take it because it's popped it over the bar. 7 points, I think, for Jeffrey Nee today, Johnny. That's 1-9 to Ringtown. 1-17 to Plunketts.
I suppose the biggest thing Ringtown plays or scores from play, you know, the goalkeeper getting a goal from a 21-yard free. And
Jeffrey with, was it 5 frees, yeah.
You know, so there just has to
Plunketts just seem to be that... scoring from play, and the spread of scores is probably that little bit better as well.
Absolutely.
Ball, scrum in the centre of the field. Again, Ringtown fighting to the death. Darren Kilcoyne now. Swings a hurley at it, but that's going nowhere. Brian Reedy goes out to it. Gets a touch to it. Eventually comes to Shawnee Kelly. Shawnee skips by one. Tries to get it out to Craig, but that's intercepted. Ringtown on the attack again. Can they get a goal? Can they get in for it? There's a mass defence of Oliver Plunkett's men there. Eventually it comes back out. It comes out to Ian Kilcoyne. Kilcoyne goes round one, goes round two. Somehow gets a strike on it, and that's up and over the bar. His 2nd of the game. Maybe we're going to have a last hurrah. Another substitution. This is their final one. That's the 5th substitution for Ringtown. It's the number 21. That's Sean Boylan. I don't know how he got out of Mead or how he got out of the herbal extracts, but it's a completely different Sean Boylan than the last one I seen anyway. And it's Johnny Hardiman that's coming off, and that is an extremely strange one. Ringtown have made some very strange substitutions here today, Johnny. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, I would say so. Yeah, you know, the use of the players on the bench from being, you know, Jack McMahon was definitely one that was getting to grips with Colin O'Leary in the first, in the 2nd quarter. So strange ones to make. But
yeah, you know, Johnny Hardiman taken off. Maybe just for now esteem. We don't know, but he's no longer on the field anyway, and it's Ringtown trying to get back in this game. 7 points in it. We're just over 4 minutes plus whatever Alfie Devine decides to play in this 2nd half. Ringtown coming again. Corrigan now. Lovely block down again. Plunketts diving, using their body, getting something on the ball every time. Looked like a foul there that time. Somehow comes back out. Paddy Lynham only on as a sub. Colin O'Leary again tries to get up. Out to Jimmy Duggan. Duggan now, he's fouled. Alfie is playing advantage, and it's going to be a free out, and that relieves some of the pressure here on Plunketts. Ringtown had a couple of chances there to get the ball further out the field and didn't take them, Johnny. No. They need to get the ball in closer to goal. They're just too far away. They're not attacking enough, and it's going to be that man Bracken again to take this one.
You know, I think Plunketts overall, you know, the work rate and the intensity they've brought to the game from the off, you know, the little bit of a lull there in the 2nd quarter, but you know, overall they've upped the game when they needed up us. You know, the scores and the spread of scores and the key players, and you know, Conor Bracken for me, you know,
looks like Darren Carter's getting ready to come in. He had a tremendous introduction in the semi-final when he came on as well. Another young man, and one of the ones to come through the academy at Plunketts. They are developing again their academy in St Oliver Plunketts. A lot of work being done over there, the likes of Eddie Casey and a few Davy Carnally and these boys really putting the shoulder to the wheel. And it's young Cunningham. We called it earlier, Johnny, but I think he's a little bit unfortunate now, but at this stage,
he's playing his best period of hurling, I suppose. You know.
At this stage, is it going to make a whole lot of difference? We're 58 minutes.
You know, he epitomised the work rate there with the 2 blocks earlier on. You know, you block one time, go back up off the ground, and then block the second one. So, you know, work rate is the key here today for Oliver Plunketts.
Yeah, and definitely they have had the more intense work rate than Ringtown have. Ringtown, in my opinion, just haven't fired enough today. Probably left their best game for the semi-final, but the ball come out again. Kilcoyne trying to get something going. Out to Corrigan. Emmett Corrigan now ships it on. They're trying their absolute best. That's number 19. That's going to be a free out, is it? Or is it going to be a free in? He threw the shoulder. I think that should be a free out, Johnny. I think the number 19 deliberately ran into him at that stage. That's Ryan Moore, and he's going to be very lucky if he doesn't get any more than a sanction. He's not getting a Christmas card off Alfie anyway. He's writing out something, and it's not a betting slip.
Step back into the challenge.
It's a yellow card, yeah, and probably deserved, Johnny.
Yeah,
Alfie is up with the play. In fairness to him, he was right up with that one. Ryan Moore actually had more chance to put that ball into the forward line, which is what Ringtown needed. Instead of that, he decided to have a little bit of retribution and have a go at some of the Plunketts players. But it's Collie O'Leary. Look where O'Leary is now. He's playing on as a wing half back.
You know, if not, Oliver Plunkett set up the way they set their stall out. They had their tactical, plan ready to go. I see here number
Stevie McManus. Another man that has given his absolute life to it. Darren Carter gets a hand to it, but doesn't get enough on it. Ball is cleared back down the field from Bracken's long free. Emmett Corrigan now goes on a run. They need a bit more of this. They need to go a little bit more direct. Emmett still with ball in hand. Ships it out to Corrigan. Corrigan goes 2-1, goes past 2, but there's just too many defenders there. He is absolutely swarmed, and look at the man that comes out of it. It's Collie O'Leary. Is he going to get it cleared? No, he's not. He ships it back out to Paddy Lynham. Aaron Craig makes a whip at it. Shawnee Kelly makes a whip at it, but that's a rather heavy challenge and no need for it again. And Ringtown just seem to be disintegrating in front of us here. They look like they've run out of ideas, Johnny.
They've probably run out of ideas early on, and looked probably the second best every ball, second in every challenge, and this little bit of discipline now and a red card for Ian Kilcoyne.
I think that's a little bit harsh. I think it's a little bit harsh, Johnny, if I'm honest. He was on a yellow though.
Yeah.
He was on a yellow, so it's a second yellow and a red. An ignominious finish for him. He hasn't had a good game today. And there we go. Ross Caroon is now leaving the field after scoring 1-3. He's been replaced by an absolute stalwart of the Oliver Plunketts club. A great club man throughout the years. Stevie McManus. I'm thrilled to see him come on to the pitch. A really, really honest to God Plunketts man. He's Plunketts through and through, and he's on for the last couple of minutes here. Whatever is in added time, that's all that's left here, because the trophy is heading to Robinstown, Johnny. There's no doubt about it at this stage. 117 to St Oliver Plunketts, 110 to Ringtown. There is no place to go. 4 minutes he's called for it, and even with those 4 minutes, I cannot see Ringtown getting back into this game.
It's done and dusted, I would say. Steve McManus, absolutely phenomenal lad. A little bit of Raherney blood in him.
There is a good bit of Raherney blood in him. In fairness, I knew you'd mention that one. All right,
to get that one
you didn't go too long without the deal side coming out. All right, Johnny.
Brilliant, great to see these guys. Stephen Conway.
They've given their life to St Oliver Plunketts, and through the hard times, Johnny. It's been a tough 4 or 5 years for Plunketts after coming from senior down to intermediate, and
2016 was the last trophy, and as I said, this trophy will mean just as much as winning the senior
absolutely. It's all about
now that they go up into the next levels in the senior
and to keep hurling going in Mullingar, Johnny, which is what we need. We needed to go on in the bigger towns.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Nino, he's going to pop this one over the bar, and that's his.
From a Ringtown point of view, I suppose Emma Corrigan and Jeffrey Nee are, working from Mountain today. They've really tried their best.
They just haven't had enough players, Johnny, that put up their hands today.
Or enough Jeffreys there today, so it's just been a difficult day at the office for Ringtown.
And they will have better days. This is 2 in a row now, Johnny. That's the only thing. What a catch from Davy Gavin. Pulls it out of the sky. Can't get up on the ground. Surely he's going to get a free given against him. I cannot understand that one. Where was he supposed to go? The man was dragged to the ground. But it's going to be a free in. It's going to free a free in. It's probably immaterial at this stage. And that's a free the other way. 2 strikes on it. and just going from bad to worse for Ringtown. It has not been a good day for Mullingar. It's been a hard one, Johnny. In fairness to them, they've just had a bad day at the office today. Is it fair to say?
Yeah, I know, absolutely. You know, they're just second best. You know, all the Plunketts were far superior in all aspects, physically, you know, technically, in all areas. You know, scores. You know, 117, fantastic scores. Like, you know, Oliver Plunketts are scoring. You know, scored an average of 119 per match in the group stage of the championship.
And amazing to note, Johnny. The only one of the starting 6 Plunketts forwards not to score was probably going to be one of our contenders for man of the match, Kieran Curley.
Yeah,
the only man that has of the starting 6 forwards, which is an incredible statistic.
But he's probably king of the assists, you know.
And there's Paddy Lynham with a score. He gets on the scoreboard.
See him back in the jersey and playing again. You know, super player.
Paddy Lynham with a lovely score here. It's 1-18 to St Oliver Plunketts. It's 1-11. We're into the last minute of the added time here in TEG Cusack Park. Running into a hefty challenge there. The number 5, Donald Liddy, looked to have taken a very, very hefty challenge there, but it will matter little to him in about 30 seconds because he's going to be one of the men coming up the steps here to pick up the Adrian Murray Cup. One of my favourite cups, I have to say, named after one of the greats of Westmeath hurling. An absolute man who gave his life to. And there it is! There's the final whistle. It's all over here in TEG Cusack Park. And the honours go to St Oliver Plunketts from Mullingar. 118 to the men from St Oliver Plunketts. 111 to Ringtown. An emphatic victory, Johnny. Mightn't state that on it, but the better team, no doubt, won by a pretty convincing margin here today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Overall, in the course of the match, you know, they were probably another 7 or 8 points better than Ringtown today, and you know, they showed the hunger and the desire that was needed. Again, as you can see, look at the joy and you know, the players embracing it. It's just great to see this again, and it's great to see, you know, that you know, Oliver Plunketts, Aaron Craig coming over here now to I think it's actually Craig that he's gone over to there, you know, so it's just great to see this, you know.
Yeah, and it's great to see Carl Craig out in the field.
You know, they deserved every bit of it, you know.
Absolutely, they're worthy champions here today. Johnny, we're going to take a little bit of a break now. It's been a tremendous game of hurling here in TEG Cusack Park, a thoroughly entertaining hours of hurling, but we're going to take a small break. We'll be back with you very, very shortly for trophy presentation and indeed for a few more bits of analysis before we finish up our broadcast here. But at the moment, it's Plunketts who have won here, 118 to 111. We'll be back with you real shortly, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed it.
There's a light, a certain kind of light that never shone on me. If I ain't got you, ain't got you, baby.
All new Renault Capture SUV for all your lives.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusack Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GA Hurling Championships.
TEG Cusack Park at the end of what was a thoroughly exciting game of hurling, Jerry, but in the end the better team won it. Is that fair to say?
Oh, by far the better team on today, and I think both Johnny and I said beforehand we fancied Plunketts, but we thought it'd be close, but it actually wasn't a close game. Plunketts won that match decisively, full value for the winning margin. I'm not suggesting for a second that Ringtown weren't hungry, but the hungrier team won as well, and hunger is a very important ingredient in a county final, so thoroughly deserved win by Plunketts. Played very good hurling, few wides in the second half and probably be disappointed in, maybe a little bit complacent. Mattered little. Thoroughly deserved win, and outstanding performance in most facets of the game.
Yeah, and speaking of those outstanding performances, Johnny, we were discussing it at the press box as well. Plunketts had all the aces, let's be honest about this.
Absolutely.
Davy Gavin, Zach Ahern in the back, Stephen Conway at full back, Aaron Craig at centre back. Like the real stellar players were all wearing green and white today.
They were. I know they stood up tall when they were needed, and what I would have seen, and I said it in commentary, when they lost possession, like they hunted Ringtown down in every sector of the field, and especially in their own defensive zone, like there was 3 to 4 to 5 Plunketts guys around a Ringtown guy, so that hunger and desire was there. I suppose my key player for Plunketts on the day was Kieran Curley. He mightn't have contributed on the scoreboard, but the assists that he did give, and the handling of ball and his distribution, his leadership in that middle third of the field, I thought was exceptionally good. Ross Kroon, finished with 1-3 or 1-4. Colin O'Leary had a huge game coming back into the fence, working really hard. They did a lot of key, and I said beforehand, the keepers were going to have a big say in it. I thought Conor Bracken was excellent. He hit one ball off the post to come back down, but overall, Plunketts were fully merited for this victory.
Now we're going to have the presentation. David Gavin, the winning Plunketts manager, just in front of us here, is going to present.
Are we finished, Tony?
We
finished.
Because of Paul Blair, the clock here, Ito, and Johnny New. Welcome to you all, supporters of St. Albert Plunketts and Ringtown. You're very welcome to our intermediate hurling final. Today, the day of course, it's my first opportunity to present an adult cup. It's our first adult final of 21, and I think we have a huge amount to look forward to if all the other finals are as good as today's. Congratulations to both teams on a fantastic display. Well done, Ringtown. Well done, Albert Plunketts. I think Alfie, our referee, and his officials contributed hugely to that great game out there. Thanks, Alfie. Well done. To the staff here in Cusack Park at the place looking so well, thank you. You'll have a bit of work to do tomorrow, but you're well able for it. We need to place in good condition over the next few weeks. I'd like to welcome especially the Murray family. All are here back in matriarch Patsy. Patsy's not too well at the minute. I hope it's a temporary thing. We are remembering the late Adrian Murray with this lovely cup. I also like to welcome the Slevin family, Pat Slevin. The transport industry has been badly hit in 20 and 21, but Pat never wavered in his support for Westmeath GAA. So thank you, the Slevin family. 14, I compliment you. Poor old Ringtown, today is not your day. You had a brilliant day in the semi-final against Castletown, where you played outstanding hurling. For today, I think the most partisan Ringtown supporter will have to admit that you face better opposition in the men from the town, the men from Mullingar and Albert Plunketts. The day belongs to you. For me, you laid two myths today. One, that the town team doesn't have pride and passion in their supporters. The other thing, that the town team are soft. You proved both wrong today. So well done. Before I ask your little captain to raise the cup, he's going to have to raise it himself because I can't raise it for him. I'd like to remember one player from Oliver Plunketts. I'd like to remember Colin Craig, who suffered a horrendous injury early on in your campaign. He would have been out there today. He's well on the way to recovery, and I wish him well with that. So, the ball, Davey, will you raise the cup, please, for your teammates? Stand out by a whole more again. Davey.
Thanks, Frank. Well, I didn't prepare anything, so you'll have to forgive me. Firstly, I'd like to start with what can I say about a club like Ringtown. You're great for Westmeath Hurling. We need all the clubs like Ringtown and Plunketts as strong as we can get them. We had 3 bands this year, and one of them we won, and 2 of them you won. There was nothing ever going to be between us, and we have the utmost respect for everything you do out there. And we just want to wish you all the best. We know you'll be back senior as soon as you can. So thanks, Ringtown. I'd like to start by remembering three club mates of ours who couldn't be here, certainly who contributed heavily to this victory today, and that's Ben Kelly, Tony Donoghue and Roger Daly, our ex-NRFG. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Wheel Oil, Casey Sports, and everyone else who helps to keep hurling going in Mullingar. It's not an easy thing, but every bit of support you give us, we appreciate, and we hope you continue with us on the journey that the club is on. Our manager started by changing a lot of our nappies when we were 4 years of age, and he's minded us ever since. I spoke to Kieran McKenna more than I've spoken to my own parents, but all I can say, Kieran, is thanks for this one. You've made me the proudest man in Mullingar. Thanks to our management team. One of them should be out there with us, and it was an amazing attitude to come back, get your head straight after being told you can't play, and stand on the line and coach us, and the effort and the passion and the professionalism that Conor Lynch has brought to the setup is second to none. Thanks, Conor. I'd also like to thank another man who's been with us since we were 4 years of age, and that's Jerry Garvey. Thanks, Jerry. Another one of our ex-players on our management team, and that's Tony Gavin. Tony's been soldier with us for a long time, so this one's for you, Tony. Finally, it's unbelievable looking how it's green again in Hughes Park. I remember we walked off the field in 2013 and we were heartbroken, so to have this feeling up here today is absolutely incredible. But I'd like to welcome all our supporters, all our players, by joining us on a journey to bring Plunketts back and hurling back to the top table in Westmeath. We're not going to stop, I can promise you, all our supporters, until we're out in the field on County Final Day again. So this one's for you, and let's keep it going. Come on!
That's it, folks. Enjoy the celebration.
There's a light, a certain kind of light that never shone on me. If I ain't got you, ain't got you.
all new Renault Capture SUV for all your lives.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Yeah, you're very welcome back here to TEG Cusick Park on an emphatic win here for St Oliver Plunketts in the intermediate, Sevens Coaches intermediate hurling final here. Again, Jerry, what can we say? Plunketts had all the stars. If you were to name one of them maybe that stood out for you, would it be any particular player?
Well, it's interesting that what Johnny said before the presentation, you know, when Matthew Cunningham got a point, I said, that's 5 of the 6 forwards who've all scored, but I said, I think their best forward has been Kieran Curley.
We said the same.
Very influential player, you know, and I thought he was absolutely outstanding. Experienced player, uses the ball well, economical in his play, always liked him as a hurler. Thought he possibly should have played for the county more than he did, but he's in the autumn of his career now. And just a quick mention in case we don't get to say it, Frank Mescal mentioned Alfie Devine. I thought Alfie refereed the match very well. Yeah. And any time there's a quality final like that, you know, a lot of it can be down to a good referee, and I thought Alfie had a very fine game.
Yeah, and we said that in commentary as well, Johnny. It was a tremendous. It needed a strong referee, I suppose, but at the same time, there was nothing in the game really as such. He never really had to enforce.
No, he didn't. No,
much discipline.
I know, but like, with the conditions, you know, you have to take control, especially in the first 10 minutes. And I thought Alfie took control of the game, and you know, the game wasn't overawed with frees and stoppages. You know, there was a nice flow to it, and you know, Oliver Plunketts offered that flow with the type of hurling they played, and you know, and the testing conditions and all the rest. But Alfie, I said, when you're not talking about the referee too much, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I suppose it is. We're going to go now. We're going to have a little chat with the winning manager and the winning captain. Congratulations, lads. Kieran, I'm delighted for you. And Gav, we sold you together for many years, and this has to be one of your better days.
It is, yeah, it certainly is. Look, our mission all year was to we know the wider picture. Hurling is difficult to keep going in Mullingar. We knew we needed to get to the top table, and every time all year we just want to bring our club back to where it belongs.
And Kieran, speaking of that, it's been from the ground level up. Plunketts really nearly had to start from scratch again and try and develop again.
Yeah, look, it's been a long road. As Davey says, it was when he was he wasn't quite 4, but when he was 7 or 8 years of age.
He wasn't far off. He was probably the same size when he was 4 anyway.
About 21 or 2 years ago, I started training Davey, and it was tiny shoelaces and pulling up his underpants for him and everything else that was going on. But it's been a long road. We've sold it for a long time, and there's a lot of other people got behind the club. It's got so much bigger now in the last 7 or 8 years. It's the underage, it's just fantastic, and the work that they're doing. And we knew it was the team thing this last couple of weeks and this last year. We had to do it for them just to get the club back up to senior level.
And it was great to see Davey mentioned, of course, Colin Craig on the road to recovery after a horrendous injury, I suppose, in the earlier game. Great to see him tagged out. I thought that was a beautiful thing to do, to put him in a jersey. And of course, we have to mention Johnny Flanagan as well, who put me here today as well, with injury as well. So, you know, it's been a long road and a hard road as well.
Yeah, Sean is actually away. He's with the cadets, actually. That's where he is. He started his cadetship a few weeks ago. Bad time for him at Plunketts, but we wish him all the best. He's got a huge career ahead of him in that, hopefully. And I'm sure he'll be back. He's young yet. He'll be back playing hurling with us in a few years' time, we'll be hoping. And as for Cahill Craig, look, we were delighted that we got through today for Cahill as well, because Cahill really come into his own this year. He was really playing well, and that day he got the belt. I mean, he got the belt in his own full back line, and about 10 seconds before that, he was after trying to block one of their corner backs and taking a clear the ball down the pitch. He was just working that hard for us, so he really come into his own in midfield. And look, we're all delighted with Cahill that we got through it today, because it's been a hard injury for him. It's been a hard road for the last few months, but hopefully in a few months' time he'll be back now and get at Senior B.
Please God. And it's Senior B next year, Gav. Another year, another chance for redemption, I suppose, to get the green and white flag waving here in TEG Cusick Park.
Yeah, I mean we've a fantastic underage coming up, Paul. We know that we have to sustain this at senior level as long as we can. For them lads come up, they're playing at a really good level.
And something for them to shoot at as well. I've seen a lot of young kids here today, and it's thrilling to see
the Plunketts colours back in Mullingar youngsters. Do you know what I mean? That's the most thrilling part.
I'm not going to give them this jersey too easy now, Paul. I want to keep going as long as I can.
I don't think it'll fit some of the big lads I've seen at underage level, Gav.
But look, the club is in a great place, being honest. We just knew we had to carry that mantle. The club is in a great place. We need to set the standard at senior level. For these lads come up, they have a proper chance to play senior hurling, and that's what's in our minds all year, nothing else.
Listen, lads, congratulations. It's been a long time coming, and it's been a wonderful final, a great way to finish out the year, I suppose, in intermediate level. Our serious commiserations to Ringtown. They just didn't bring it on the day, but the team that brought it on the day was from St. Alfred Plunketts. And congratulations to both of you. I'm delighted for you. So, Johnny.
Well done. Super.
The heel of the hunt. They say the cream rises to the top, and I suppose that's what happened today. Man of the match for you.
Man of the match, Kieran Curley. You know, absolutely. He mightn't have scored, but you know, the assists and his work rate, and he dropped out. You know, I suppose he was quiet for one quarter, and the other three dominated. You know, his distribution, the balls he played in, like he laid on a plate for the guys inside, and I know Colin O'Leary, like as a forward unit as a whole, Oliver Plunketts were excellent, but that forward unit also worked extremely hard defensively.
Yeah, you know, it was a tough choice for suppose, Johnny, because even in defence, like Aaron Craig had a really decent game as well.
Yeah.
Young Bracken scored 5 points from frees.
You know, I heard Davey talk about Conor Lynch, and you know, they're blessed with 2 really good goalkeepers, and you know, what I seen today from Oliver Plunketts was a desire and probably to back up what Davey spoke about up there, about going up the levels and going up the directories and bringing town hurling up into senior and being back up at those steps again. Now, that's a statement that they have to back up now.
And I suppose something, as I said to Davey, something for the underage to aspire to now. They have a senior B team now. They're going to have to press on at senior B and maybe get up to senior A level.
Yeah, absolutely. You seen Paddy Lynham coming in there now, a top quality inter-county standard player. You know, and they have these Zach Ahern, a young guy coming in. You know, a young Carter coming on. So like there's loads and loads, and without laying the foul, you have to lay that foundation. That foundation has to be solid, and I think they have a nice foundation there. And like as Davey says, they want to be at the top tier, and you know, next year they have to make an assault in that senior B to be back up those steps again and making that same speech, and then going up again into the senior A and making sure that the top table hurling is into town, because we need it. You know, and Westmeath need it. You know,
Westmeath needed it. Yeah. And Joe Fortune was here today. I'm sure he picked out. There was definitely a couple of lads who would have stepped up into that. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Colin O'Leary, I thought was
unbelievable.
Aaron Craig showed all of his experience there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe playing for his brother as well. You know.
Absolutely. You seen him. He went straight over to him after the game and embraced him there. You know, and it was that's what it's about. You know, that's what we're talking about. The difference between the sole intermediate club and the sole intermediate team. Having that, you can feel it here around us now at the moment. You know, with all respects to the second teams of the top clubs and all the rest of it, that same thing isn't there. You know, you see the support here.
The passion is not there.
Yeah, the passion is not there. You know, and I think today was a real testament. And you heard Frank Maskell speaking there, and I felt it was a county final buzz here today.
A proper
county final. Traditional. You know,
and in Ringtown, Johnny, we talked an awful lot about Plunketts, but in Ringtown, they'll know themselves. This is the second year in a row now they've fallen short at the final hurdle.
Yeah.
You know, where do they go from here? Having said that, there are a lot of young lads there as well that are in that mode to step up maybe, and with Plunketts maybe gone out at intermediate championships, they will be looking to step up into that.
Yeah, no, they will. And look, they'll have to look at today and improve vastly. Like their tactical side of things, really probably have to be able to adjust a lot better. Physically, I thought maybe Oliver Plunketts were streets ahead.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of development to do, and if they want to be back here, like there's no God-given right just because you lost to be able to be back here in the third and win it. So they'll have to put in, do a little bit extra than they've done this year. Look back at the last 2 finals and say where do we have to get the boxes ticked, and where do we step back up to be able to bridge that gap to make sure that they're up there the next time round.
And I'm sure they're a proud hurling club. They'll want to get back up the steps here again.
Absolutely.
They will definitely want to get back up here again, because they have that tradition. They love the hurling out there.
Absolutely.
Today just wasn't their day.
No, it wasn't. Like I remember going around watching Ringtown with David Kilcoyne, all the Kilcoynes playing as a young fella, and like it was just a joy to watch. And that's the tradition they have out there.
John and
Sean and Dave, like they were just brilliant. And then to see Darren and Ian today, and more guys coming through. So there's a massive tradition there in Ringtown, and they won't lie down. They'll be back.
And we certainly hope that they take this maybe as a building block and to step up into what Plunketts have done here today, because Plunketts, they've had a few lean years. This let's be honest, but this hurling in Mullingar was virtually on its knees there. You've seen Davy Gavin mention the likes of Ben Kelly and Tony Donoghue who brought the club from virtually nothing in the 70s, and you know, it's back to the forefront again. You know,
it is.
You know, we need. You're right. We need hurling in Mullingar. We need hurling in we need hurling in all the major.
Oh, we need it. You know, right
if we want to
county.
progress as a county, that's where we need to progress.
I suppose the biggest thing from Davy's speeches, and I say it again, and I'm not putting the pressure on after winning the county final, but they have to back that up now. Those players that he spoke about, that to be able to make that bridge and to be able to go again, you know, that they enjoy this, and the next, when they make an assault at Senior B next year, they make a serious assault on
and
they're good enough to do it. Absolutely, they're good enough to be in the top tier. They have the players there. There's a good core group. They need maybe 3 or 4 more young guys coming through to be able to blood in over the next couple of years. But if the foundation they've laid and build, like Kieran McKenna is a great manager, a guy you had with me with the last couple of years with the Camogie, you know, super guy, really really good. He deserved that today just as much as the players did for all the work he put in.
And they played a bit for him as well.
They played for him today. You could see that he's an exceptional. You know, he would have left no stone unturned today for them to come out, and you could see it epitomised, you know, him as a manager and the type of person he is. The performance they had today, you know, that every little bit and every ball fell the right way. But you know, at the end of the day, the players go across the white line. They did. You know, the players go across the white line, and he has to trust them to be able to do the right thing.
I have to agree with you. It's 3 for 3. I thought Kieran Curley was my man of the match as well. So we're absolutely decided on that. I hope the Examiner and the topic happens next week that Kieran Curley with it, because if not, we're not much pundits. We'll probably be talking about this on Wednesday night for the midweek show. But look at. From Cusick Park here, from TEG Cusick Park, the Intermediate Championship is over for 2021. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Senior B semi-final tomorrow between Father Dalton's and Cullen, and also the Senior A semi-final between Clonkill and Castletown. 2 very exciting games. Clonkill and Castletown will be live on Airview TV tomorrow afternoon. I would suggest, ladies and gentlemen, don't miss it. I think it could be a cracker, an absolute cracker, if it's half as good a game as we had today. But for the moment here, from TEG Cusick Park, it's 118 to St Oliver Plunketts, it's 111 to Ringtown. The championship for 2021 in the Intermediate Hurling Championship is heading to Robinstown, to the men from Mullingar. Congratulations to them, commiserations to Ringtown. Their day will come. But from us here, from Ollie, from Donny, from Johnny, from Jerry Buckley and myself, it's goodbye and God bless, and we'll see you all again here tomorrow. Ear via boo.
A certain kind of light that never shone on me. If I ain't got you, ain't got you, baby. You don't know what it's like. Baby, you don't know what it's like.
All new Renault Capture SUV for all your lives.
7th Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GA Hurling Championships.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.